Hello. Making sure everything's working. All right, actually, we can go over here.
TikTok shock. TikTok.
Nailed it. First try.
That was
No
that
comments.
was what I came back to. It was just that. That was great.
Hi, everybody.
Errol.
Giggling over here. All right, let me.
We have a neon face instead of a neon avatar. Screen upgrade.
On this screen, yes, yeah. All right.
I'm so
Oh my god, I just saw the new icon for
Yep.
Fox. Nice.
Yep, it's itty.
Oh my god.
Yep,
That's perfect.
yep, it's perfect.
I love it.
I want to step on it.
No.
I didn't take long. Okay. So because we're always short on time, we'll just go ahead and get things
It's
rolling.
perfect punching size.
Right. So yes, we will go. Oh my gosh, we will go ahead and get get things rolling. We'll move over here before we dive in. Obviously, we will. We'll pause actually. Okay. Normally I do the recaps, but I want to make sure everybody's in the same boat. Does anybody want to do a quick recap? Or are you guys like, we don't take notes, let Neon do it?
I mean, I don't have notes, but I think I have quick bullet points
That's
of
that's
like
still notes.
the major bits.
Yeah, major bits. That's
I mean-
Well, I was about to say, I have a brief recollection of what happened.
Quiet? Why am I-
So I would say
Hopefully that's better.
we recovered the plans.
Wait, hold on.
We're trying to make our way out. Yeah.
Apparently I'm quiet.
Oh, you're hella loud.
Well,
for
you
us
got I
now.
might
Now
be loud
you're-
for Discord, but apparently I'm quiet for stream, weirdly enough.
Yeah, you're perfect volume for us here in
Go speak up.
Discord.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough. Wait, hold on. I am quiet in OBS. What the heck? Hold on. Let me go back down to where I was because I was right about there normally.
Go speak up.
I don't know why I'm quiet.
Gotta yell.
Hang on. Let me see if I can boost it in OBS. Is this better or is it still not quite there? Let me know if.
And now it's an ad.
Of course it is. All right. Well, I've increased my mic by 6 decibels in OBS so that it's not crazy loud in Discord, but it is louder on stream. And I am now up into the.
RT says it should be good.
Well, that was when I was adjusting the volume on my Go XLR. But
Ah.
Take
hey!
my Prime sub.
Woohoo! We love Prime.
Did you know that?
Did you know with Amazon? I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that again. Maybe later. Maybe later. Hopefully that
Support
makes
me on
a
game by
Like the
disabling
way
ad
the
block.
actual, like-
No.
All right. Well, hopefully that makes a difference because I'm trying to balance everything out. Ever since I reinstalled OBS, I've been having issues. So hopefully that helps. But so Melon and Shadow both said you guys had bullet points.
I said
Thank you.
I have a brief memory of what happened.
Okay. Granted, my notes
yeah.
are like sessions 19, 20, and 21 all combined. So like, if you guys.
The very brain dead Cliff Notes version is we broke in through the basement.
Mhm.
We snuck our way through until we decided stealth was optional. I flipped a table and used it kind of as a weapon for a little bit.
And no one was surprised.
No, nobody was surprised.
At
And
this point,
then-
no one is.
A room got shattered and people in there vaporized. We recovered the plans and we're making our way out.
I'm torturing this guy for fun.
Exactly.
Surprise,
The
surprise.
owl was digging her talons into his legs for a little bit until, poof, squirrel. And we're about ready to go turn in the quest.
Okay.
We're about
after-
ready to be done with the
after-
prologue.
After this guy. Yeah. Prologue done.
Listen,
Yay.
just because you decided to Red Dead 2 the prologue doesn't mean anything. No. Honestly, that's a pretty good sum up. You guys basically had snuck in through the basement of this manor that you guys had found out was one of the hideouts, potentially home bases for the Low Hoods. Did sneak your way in pretty successfully, took out a few guards, and then, yes, decided stealth was optional and burst through the doors into a meeting room after overhearing a meeting between some of the sergeants and what you later found out to be Captain Over and Harkett, the leader of the Low Hoods. Big old fight ensued. You guys kind of split up for a short bit. Did find a small goblin chef named Glick, and then also discovered the plans. Oh my gosh!
His repulsive food.
Where's it all? Oh, there's anything. Okay.
Pause.
Sorry, my wife just brought me dinner.
You're good.
Anyways, so you guys met Glick and then ran upstairs and found the plans. Collection of scrolls that you guys found out and happened to be the plans. Came back downstairs. In the process of all of this, ended up taking out the remainder of the guards left in and around the property, including the two outside in a very creative fashion, resulting in you guys making your way back to kind of this sort of eating/resting area where you have tied up one of the last remaining guard, beaten him to a pulp, gotten some information, including the name of the captain, and basically had kind of gotten as far as getting that information out of him when Othwin was showing you guys some potions that she had found and was holding them up. And as she was holding them up, literally, and as Melon put it, poof, squirrel. And yes, in Othwin's place is no longer a small owlin-like burb, but is now an even smaller icore, or squirrel folk. Standing there, looking up at you with a puzzled look on its face. And let me go ahead and fix the music. Because this was like storytelling music. Okay. So as we return back to our lovely little game here, we're going to start by reintroducing a new little creature here. So, as I said, poof, squirrel. And in its place is a small squirrel. Fox, can you please once again describe for everybody what they see in front of them? And to clarify, before you go into detail about who this creature is, I want to tell you that currently, and I'll explain here why, you have a point of exhaustion. So your little person is not extremely tired, but definitely winded and showing some exhaustion. And I will get into why here in a second. But can you please describe for everybody what they see?
Well, first of all, you will see a big bushy tail, mostly covering the rest of the body. She's only about, what, 3 feet tall, I think?
If that, yeah, just under 3 feet. Because she's tiny.
Well, she's a big squirrel.
Yes.
It's a big squirrel. Her fur is super silky looking, like it was well groomed, light tan. But her not red eyes, but more like a deep maroonish. It's just curiously looking around.
Okay. As you look around the room, you see towering above you, basically, you see this group of individuals. Standing closest to you is a human male, Grigor, standing over you, and right next to you is a massive dog that is now staring at you with its tongue flopping out of its mouth and panting heavily, looking at you. Shadow, can you please roll me? Let's do it this way. Roll me a Constitution saving throw for Scorch, and the Constitution modifier for Scorch is going to be a +1.
Did we ever make him a sheet?
He technically has a sheet. I forgot actually. I remember now. I needed to make a separate sheet that you have access to, which I currently do not have.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I still need to do that. I can maybe work that into tonight while I'm doing stuff. It shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah. Okay. So what was his modifier?
+1.
16.
I'm sorry, what was that?
16.
Okay, 16. Okay, so with a 16, thank you. with a 16. Scorch does not immediately pounce on the squirrel in front of it, but Fox, your character suddenly can hear as this dog is leaning down towards you, taking big sniffs, and admittedly looks like it may want to do something. It doesn't do anything yet, though.
With the giant dog next to me, gonna try to scamper on top of the person that is tied up. I don't really notice he's tied up at the second.
Yeah, I mean, and he's also unconscious, by the way. All right, music is not doing what I thought it was. Give me a second.
Yeah.
This is not the vibe.
That music's like that dude's still alive.
Yeah, the dude comes to life and eats everyone. No, sorry.
Would Dax know what a squirrel is? Has she been in this realm long enough?
Roll me a history check. I'm certain that you would, but roll me a history check.
Would depend also, Neon.
What's my history again? +0. Oh, so I stupid when it comes to history.
Yeah. I mean, a regular squirrel you might know, but whether or not you know what this is a whole different matter.
I got a 2.
You have no idea what the hell this small creature is.
Oh gosh.
I'm assuming the squirrel at some point looked in my general direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we make eye contact, I just say in Elvish that to prevent spoilery things, and in the most friendliest of smiley tones that, she's commonly used in the past. I don't think Squirrel speaks Elven, but
But what did you say? I'm sorry?
I put it in chat.
Oh.
Because language.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Because I'm not 100% certain if that thing works correctly. So you hear the Elvish tongue, Fox, being spoken in your direction, but obviously you don't understand it.
The squirrel's gonna hear the language. It just tilt its head like it has no fucking idea what the hell just was said.
And yeah, to clarify, Dax, you don't know what this thing is, and it just kind of hopped up, and it's about 3 feet tall, so it's not a rat, but it's obviously not like a humanoid.
Dax wants to punt it.
Of course she does. Does she?
Well, she doesn't know what it is, and so she's basically like it's a rat or something like that. She's not gonna scream, but she's gonna jump back and try and punt it.
All right, do this. First off, as you're jumping back, do you actually scream?
Yes.
Okay. As the screaming and the jumping is happening, before anything else, how would the squirrel react?
I noticed Dax is ready to attack, right?
Well, you're more frightened than attacked, if I understood that correctly.
Well, I meant
Yeah.
like a physical. I see the foot getting ready to yeet. Do I have the point of exhaustion on me?
You do.
By the way,
Yes.
No? Okay. If I see Dax's foot, I don't know if can I just go invisible?
I believe so. Hang on.
Well, I meant like in this. Like, can I just?
Oh, can you physically make it happen? I can make you invisible. Yeah, here, I got you. So you just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll just poof.
All right. So as you're gearing up to kick and you're freaking out,
I'm so invisible. I can't see anything.
yeah, it's because I literally turn you off. But
I didn't think it'd blind me.
yeah, I'll
It's
take.
kind of funny.
I gotta check in to see how it actually works mechanically, but that's the easiest way to do it.
I know it's one of my spells.
It is.
I'm kind of...
Actually, hold on. Let me check something here.
Because I'm trying to figure out because it's an at-will spell.
Yep,
Does that
so-
use my spell slots?
We're not going to consume. Nope. Wait, is it at will? Yeah, it's at will, so you can just do whenever. That's right.
Yeah, All right, so I'll do that and just. I don't think.
There you go.
Just to
Why does
throw
it
people
sound like
off.
I just got abducted by an alien?
Because maybe you did.
Oh, well, okay. I guess I'm playing from a mothership. I don't know.
There's also a weird circular glow above Grigor where the squirrel was briefly for testing purposes. I don't know if that's meant to be up there.
Um,
Oh yeah, I see that. That's weird.
hang on. I think that's. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's part of the chain thing. That's part of the restrained. Ignore that.
Oh,
Yep.
that's where the chain's coming out of.
Yes. Yep. So, Dax, you jump back, startle, and you go to wildly kick, and the squirrel disappears.
Dax is gonna stand there more confused now than scared. She's gonna lower her foot and then she's just gonna stand there like, what the hell was that?
What does everybody else do?
I'll ask the question. Where's Othwin?
And what you guys
Othwin
notice,
poofed and then squirrel.
yep. And what you guys notice is in the place of where Othwin was, is you do see. Actually, everybody roll me. Yeah, I'm not making a roll for it. In the place where Othwin was, embedded into the wooden floor, is a soft, barely noticeable, but once you are like, where's the burb at? Some sort of strange runic-like symbol, obviously arcane in nature. You obviously, none of you would recognize it, but you would recognize the general gist of what it is, just kind of softly etched into the wood. And as you're kind of looking at it and looking for Othwin, it starts to fade until after about 30 seconds, it's gone.
While it's still fresh in my memory, can I try to draw that symbol on one of my pieces of parchment?
Yeah, actually, yeah, if you want to go and do that, you can.
The moment I remember where I stored those. Right, there.
What does everybody else do?
Since Dax doesn't want to like really know about arcane and archaic powers,
Mm-hmm.
she's just more gonna be like, she's more just gonna be trying to wrap her head around it.
Okay.
Because to her it doesn't make sense.
Fair. Yeah, I would say as soon as the squirrel vanishes, Scorch would start barking.
So if that's also the case, then she's also going to be going over to Scorch and trying to calm him down.
Basil wants to move closer to where the squirrel disappeared.
Okay.
And just kind of looks intently at where it used to be on the unconscious guy and just seeing if I can find any trace of not the squirrel, but what it left behind.
Okay.
So like indentation where it's currently standing or anything of the sort.
Okay. While this is happening, while Dax is trying to calm down Scorch, while Basil is investigating, what is the squirrel doing after vanishing?
It just moved further. It's like pretty much on his head. she's
Okay.
like, I'm gonna go higher, so if I get kicked, he gets kicked first.
Okay. And then what is Talina and Merrick? What are you guys up to?
Circle back to me in a second.
Okay. I'll circle back to Jesse too, I guess.
Merrick just asks, kind of out loud, was that the same creature or a new one? He probably directs that question more towards Selena because she's the one who spent most time with the bird. But it's still audible to everyone.
Sure.
Was this a new creature? Or turtle? What?
Well, it was a bird, and now there's a squirrel. So did it just transform? Does it? Is it still the same being, or did something else just happen?
Haven't a clue. I drew the symbol, but it doesn't. I don't know it. Actually,
Let me do this.
Could I
Tyro,
know
roll
it?
me an Arcana check, please.
yeah, I was gonna.
Yep.
First roll a
Oh
day, and
my
I know
God.
it.
All right, Mister. I'm gonna roll a nat 20 right out the gate. As you glance
And here
down
was
at your
the
quick
spring.
sketch and you're able to study it longer than you were when it was on the ground as it was fading from view, while you don't know the symbol exactly, it bears some resemblance to arcane sigils that are used in teleportation spells and in transportation circles.
Resembles some form of teleportation magic is what I'm gonna write down. Cool. Not the same creature. This seems to be a kind of glyph that moves things fast and far. Also, where did it go? As she snaps her fingers, and violet light begins to glow in around
Oh,
that area.
well played. As you snap your fingers, I can't remember. Is this anything in the space, or is it specific to objects that you target?
Each object within that 20-foot cube is outlined in blue, green, or violet light.
Objects, but not creatures.
Any creature in the area when the spell casts is also outlined in light if it fails the dexterity saving throw.
Okay, what's the saving throw on that?
DC 13 dex.
Okay. Fox, go ahead and roll me a dexterity saving throw, the DC 13. Oh, that was exactly a 13. I love it. So
That was a 14.
you snap your
Add a
fingers.
+1.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. You rolled a 13 with the +1, but as you snap your
Yeah.
fingers, and everything starts to light up in the room, you notice that nothing lights up over in that area.
What about Basil's investigation on the unconscious person?
Go ahead and roll me
Is
the
there?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me an investigation check, and I'll say, describe. Are you just walking over and looking, or are you doing anything else?
Looking for indentation and like trail or like any ruffledness
Okay,
on the
perfect.
dude.
Yep, roll me an
Or like
investigation.
immediate area.
Yep. I got your template. Don't worry.
Hot damn.
Jeez, y'all. As you it's as you step up to the body that you notice that there's like not like obviously you can't leave footprints on clothes, but you look close enough and you're seeing small indentations on the thigh, and then you watch as those indentations in some sort of pattern move up the chest, and you watch as the clothes look like they're pulled a little bit in various spots, like something's grabbing them and pulling them down. And then you see his shoulder kind of move a bit, and then you watch as his hair kind of ruffles a bit in a way like something might be sitting on his head, like some sort of weight is on his head.
Basil, in almost like just a silent glare, but not like intimidation, like is just staring directly where any object would be on top of that head.
So you now have a full
Basically looking through the
Yeah.
squirrel that's invisible, but
Mhm.
also at.
Yep. And so, Fox, as you're standing on the head and you kind of stand up and turn to reface the room, you now have this human standing basically right in front of you for about maybe 10 inches, staring perceivably right at you.
Well, noticing like nobody seems to want to, I don't know, aggressively attack me or any form of attack,
Mm-hmm.
kicking me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drop my invisibility.
Okay. I believe you should become, yeah,
I
you
did.
should be revisible. Yeah. And then also you can remove your concentration.
Not
Oh,
Dax's
yeah.
fault. She doesn't know what you are.
No, you've never seen a creature like, I don't know how you've made it across this much of the globe or the continent without ever witnessing a squirrel, but for you have never seen one of these before.
There it is.
Um,
Couldn't find it.
much less one this large. And yeah,
I
so
dropped the
now,
fairy fire as well, by the way.
huh?
Because the creatures become visible again, so I'm dropping fairy
Oh,
fire.
yeah, that's fine. So as the invisibility fades, Basil, you are now essentially face to face with a 3-foot tall squirrel that is standing on the head of this unconscious guard, staring right back at you.
I'm sorry about the friend. They got a little startled as you're basically where our other friend was.
You're gonna hear in your head. Suddenly, mind you. Yeah, just no kicking, okay? Like, come in peace.
Do
I
you make
think,
any like hand
maybe.
motions or anything when you do that?
Yeah, she's holding up her hands like, hey, kind of like you would like a child, like, hey, but stop.
A little like taken aback that it was straight to brain. I'm not going to attack, and I don't think anybody else will, so long as you kind of explain yourself.
Do you respond verbally?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm gonna act fucking crazy.
Yep. So the rest of the room, you watched Basil say the first thing of like, "Hey, we don't mean any harm. Sorry about my friend." Dead silence. You see Basil kind of jump a bit and then verbally respond to seemingly nothing that just was spoken back to him.
Basil doesn't know that it didn't go to everybody.
Does Grigor do anything else besides look at him like he's a loon?
Gee, thanks. Love the
I mean, Telena's will
Not really, no.
magic of inserting words into people's brains, so she's got one and puts them together.
Sure.
Okay, Neon, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to have the really darkness right beside me? Like over... I can't...
The wall
Yeah.
is
Yeah, where
funky.
you're...
There's a wall right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like, it shadows in a weird spot.
Yeah,
right there, and
It's
like...
because of where the grid lined up.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a wall, right? You guys can't see it because there's so much going on. In fact, actually, hang on a second, just for my own, like, sanity.
Yeah, all but the unconscious one. Oh,
Okay.
never mind.
He is
The
sitting in a
unconscious one
chair.
is the
He's
one.
tied up. He's unconscious. We're just going to remove all that for our sanity.
okay. Basil's gonna look over his shoulder at Telena and be like, "What the heck do I do?" Like, not verbally, but just kind of give that expression of, "This is your department, not mine."
As you look over your shoulder, Dax, so Scorch had quit barking, and then after the squirrel reappeared, Scorch started barking again.
Dax is again gonna try and calm him down and be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey. She's gonna try and distract him with a bone.
Okay, animal handling check, and I'll say if you're trying to distract him with a bone, I'll give you advantage on the check.
Okay. You said advantage?
Yes, because you're utilizing an implement to try to do it.
It's gonna be an 18.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So bark, 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 and then like looks over at you with the bone and like sniffs it a couple times, looks at you, and then gingerly grabs it and then lays down and starts nomming on the bone.
Now that she's calmed Squirt's down, she's gonna look back at this animal that she knows nothing about, and she's gonna cock her head to the side, like, you know how like when an animal does when they're like they're
Mhm.
curious and they don't know what this is. That's what she's doing.
Okay. And I'd say from this angle, the squirrel could absolutely see this odd head tilt from Daxori.
So back in Basil's brain. Okay. I will explain stuff. First of all, where are we? And what's going on?
As you ask that question and you hear the question in your head, Basil, it suddenly becomes apparent to you before anybody else. Oh, wait. We're still standing in a room with unconscious people, dead people in a place that is not safe.
Dax isn't done having their fun.
I can explain a little bit more once we're not in this room.
Okay. So is the person I'm standing on a friend or foe to you guys? Because this is awkward.
He starts to shudder awake as you say that.
Not friend.
Oh, okay.
He starts to stir a little bit as you are on his head.
Basil kind of outstretches an arm, kind of making the gesture of, you want to come on the shoulder and move?
As Dax starts to hear the guy kind of groan and kind of wrestle awake, she's gonna stand up and start approaching back to her spot over here in the corner so that she can get ready to continue doing her work. She's just gonna try and ignore the squirrel entirely because she's too confused by it.
Okay, and she
She
moves
just
where? I'm
doesn't
sorry?
understand it. Her corner that she was originally in.
Okay.
And she's just gonna kind of kneel down and get ready to go back to her work because she's too confused by the squirrel. She's
And
just gonna try and ignore it.
As Dax is moving, Basil's going to kind of say to the squirrel, you might want to move. She's not going to be very kind to that guy.
Oh, you want him dead? I can do that.
Basil just deadpan stare, blink, blink.
Blink, 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 blink.
You want to try
You get-
talking to her? It points at Dax.
Mind you, this whole time, you've not heard a word out of the squirrel except Basil. So you just hear Basil having a one-sided conversation with the squirrel.
And Basil doesn't know that.
Correct.
Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. At this point, she will open her mind to most of the people in this room. Most of the ones that are close to her, because she doesn't know anything happening in the back with, Selena, Alexander, and our little gnome friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's like, hi, short question. Especially the red one. You want this one dead? As she points to the person under her.
You want this one dead. And so
At that
point,
all of you
Dax-
hear that in your head.
At this point, Dax is gonna at this point, she is actually legitimately freaked out. So she is basically gonna jump back because she doesn't know where that voice is coming from.
Basil, completely oblivious, just kind of looks at Dax. What? They've been talking this whole time.
Inspiration. You get inspiration for that.
Um,
That's good.
Dax is gonna be like, who's talking?
The squirrel? The creature on the guy's head?
She's just gonna her mind can't wrap around this. So she's just gonna be like, in response, because she hasn't seen the squirrel talk or anything like that. So she's just gonna be like, yes, but I am doing it.
Did Telena get mind linked as well with the squirrel?
I don't think so.
Fox, didn't you say everyone in the room, or did you just say the
I said almost. The ones that were closest to her.
Okay, so Dax, Grigor, Basil. Okay. So now
She doesn't quite know if the other three are friendly or if they're just currently in a standstill right now.
I will say that you probably can't see Spitwick. He's beneath the table. But yeah, so Merrick and Talina, you guys didn't hear that. So then all of a sudden you hear Dax just yelling at the squirrel.
And I'm just staring down at the hallway now that we're making noise again. Oh, nope. And that door next to me,
I'm just staring at the scene.
that opens southward, right? So for me to look through there, that door needs to be completely open.
No, it opens this way. So right now it's basically
Oh,
open
in
and
that
kind of
case,
up.
I'll just-
It's kind of open against the
Yeah.
wall right here. So it's just fully open.
Okay. I thought it was closed when I was peeking through, but that works too.
Yeah, you're good.
In fact, heck it, why not? I'll close it so that I can peek through it. Keep like 2 fists worth of width
Okay.
between them, so I can still look through, but not have the door be completely open.
There you go. Okay.
I have left light there.
All right. So as this is happening, and Dax, you're yelling, "No, I want to do it!" The guy kind of stirs and his eyes flutter awake. What? And he kind of is like glanced around. And he's like, "Oh, what happened?"
Don't be alarmed, but there's something on your head.
And he like looks at you, and his eyes are like fluttering. And where he got smacked is starting to like already start to bruise up pretty good. So one of his eyes is not like fully like it's starting to swell up. He looks over. He says, "What?" And then he watches his eyes look up, and he kind of starts to lean his head back a bit. And so Fox, you start to feel the head beneath you start to tilt backwards, and your platform starts to shift.
I shift with it.
You shift with it. As he looks up, and he's like looking up around, and you just hear him kind of making noises, looking. He can't see you yet. What are you talking about?
Dax, did you want to finish with this? This is a lot.
He looks over at you and back to Dax. Oh shit, I remember. And he watches. He kind of like tenses up and braces for whatever's about to come.
Yeah, she's gonna look at him, and she's gonna like, yeah, remember me? We're not done here yet.
Just imagine how shaky she's sounding.
I got nothing else for you.
Oh, I know you do.
No,
And with that, she's gonna kind of take a step forward. She's gonna take a step forward and be like, well, you know how I said I would be giving you some money in return for, the information?
Kinda. That's a little fuzzy.
Oh, well, good, because I lied.
Colored me shocked.
And with that, Dax gets down on her knee, or like squats down.
Slap squat.
She's gonna squat down, and she's just gonna be like, and she pulls out her knife, and she just starts gently tapping the guy, like knee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't really like y'all. Mercenaries are disgusting human beings.
Well, I don't count
especially
myself as a merc.
Especially this group in general. And with that, she's continuously tapping the knee, and she's kind of looking down at the floor. And I honestly feel like y'all should be eradicated from this plane and every other plane of existence.
That seems very heavy-handed since we just met.
Not to interrupt this too much, but Basil's gonna kind of look to the squirrel and be like, "You might want to move," and then like tap his shoulder.
He feels the tap and looks over at you. And
No, not him, but Basil is tapping his own shoulder.
Okay, gotcha. But he hears you say that and looks over, and he's like, "What do you mean move? I can't go nowhere."
Not talking to you. As Basil's looking directly above him.
He sees your gaze and he glances up again, and he's like, Y'all are crazy. There's nothing there.
You'll say I'm crazy until you see it.
At that moment, Tippery's gonna jump down onto the dude's leg.
Ah!
Like,
What
his
the
knee
devil is
area?
that? And you watch as he's trying to like scoot himself back further into the wall and chair, and obviously he can't. So he's just like frantically kicking his heels against the ground.
Basil just goes to like, wait up, and then face palms. Turning away and moving back towards like Kaleda.
I unpaused. Yeah, so you can move. Does Dax do anything with the squirrel now on the leg, right? Basically where you've been tapping.
No, because she doesn't see it, because she's still looking down at the floor as
Okay.
she's tapping the guy's knee.
Okay.
And as she does that, she's gonna be like, "I'm so gonna enjoy this."
He just lets out a
Before,
sigh.
before she stands up and looks at the guy, and as she looks at the guy and sees the squirrel, she doesn't jump back, but she kind of like stutters or like flinches, and
Shudder.
not necessarily like a like you're gonna hit me type thing, more like ugh, kind of like a disgusted type thing.
Wow.
Tips upon seeing that is just gonna put her head up like, and jump down and scurry to the table.
Just because I know there's
I
a
can
wall
move
there.
myself. Haha.
Yeah, because
Yes,
there's a wall, so I
like,
didn't
yeah.
want to make sure you got stuck. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna
Grigor,
move right here though. 'cause I'm not in the blood.
she scurries underneath your legs and then hops up on a chair and then on the table all very quickly, and stands basically. And at this point now you can see the gnome standing on the other side of the table, down what's now below you. And Spitwick looks at us. What? Is that a squirrel?
I ain't a fucking squirrel, little dude.
Did you say that in his head?
Yes.
Ah! Demon squirrel! Demon squirrel! And runs away.
This is amazing.
Are you like Rocket the raccoon who doesn't like it when he killed the raccoon?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's amazing.
I couldn't pass it up.
Triangle faced monkey.
Anyways.
After the squirrel has vacated the space, Dax, and you watch it scurry off. Do you do anything?
She gets to work on carving, we'll say, the individual up.
Oh, geez. Okay. For the sake of brevity, when you say carving him
Yeah.
up, are you like, what are you doing? Like, give me a loose description here. Like, are you carving
He's-
something into him? Or are you just trying to like end him in a gruesome fashion? Like, what are you trying to do?
A gruesome fashion but it's in a fashion that you would know, by looking at it, you would be like, that's someone who hated that person.
Okay.
And she's doing it in a manner where she's not trying to kill the guy instantly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
So-
basically you end him, but you're doing it in a slow fashion so that he feels it.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, first things first is anybody who's in the room, well, actually, because everybody in the room is within earshot, definitely of that. I need everybody here to roll me a Constitution saving throw with a DC 16. And then Dax, I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage with a DC 16.
Let's see. Oh, like I have to.
Basically, if you roll, it's a
Oh, poor
it's a success if you roll
Grigor.
over 16. If it's a 16 or if it's a 15 or less, then it's a fail. Okay, so
So I got a 16.
okay, all right, then you're fine. Okay, so Grigor and Merrick specifically, since you guys are watching this, Merrick, it visibly it doesn't phase you because it's you, and Merrick is never one to show off much of what's going on inside. But the act that you're witnessing your party member, maybe considered friend, at least acquaintance, enacting on this guy that at this point has no more value to the group, and this is just pure torture for torture's sake, really kind of affects you. And you take you take 3 points of psychic damage. And Grigor as well. You're watching this and you're closest to it. So not only are you hearing the screams up close and personal of this guy who's trying his best to keep the pain in, it's not working, and he's letting out screams and he's letting out cries of pain, and there's blood and there's just viscera, and it's just gross. And you as well are watching this, and it's hitting you in a way you weren't expecting, and you feel your stomach twist into knots, and your face goes a little pale, and you actually feel yourself start to kind of throw open your mouth a little bit, and you take 7 points of psychic damage watching this happen in front of you.
How the heck does psychic damage work, by the way? I was always curious.
It's just mental damage, so I'm doing it because it's the shock of watching this happen. And so if you were resistant to psychic damage for whatever reason, you would have that. But if you're not, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and as she's doing that, you would hear the infernal I just typed out.
Yeah, so you'd hear this mixture of like whispers and guttural sounds come out of her mouth in a language none of you understand. 1 second.
As he hears this going on, Telena's gonna speak in Elvish directly at the guy, with her lips turning purple.
Mm-hmm.
If I can hear you, though, need not understand you.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna speak to the guy with
Uh-huh.
my lips turning purple.
Uh-huh.
It's Casivus' mockery. And I'll type out what I'm saying when I realize what I said, but he needs to make a wisdom save. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I rolled dual sixes. Or no, 6 and a 9, actually. Yeah, so he failed. I love that you guys are using the language module. Makes me happy. Okay. So, you guys, as this is happening, Dax, and you're getting kind of lost in what's happening, you don't really hear it too much, but you do, like, kind of hear, like, it sounds almost like a distant whisper is what you're hearing. Your mind has become so cordoned off as you are absorbed and consumed with what you're doing. But the rest of you hear an Elvish phrase come out of Telena's mouth, and as that happens and the pinkish glow wraps around her lips and fades, it's at this point that Dax, you recognize that your victim has stopped screaming, and whether or not she stops or not, he's no longer making any noise and his body goes limp.
Because Dax is so consumed at this moment by her past and all of that, she doesn't recognize that. She is solely focused on the act of taking her frustration and anger out.
Okay. Unless any, and I'll say this kind of to the group, unless anyone is attempting to get in the way and stop her, before I continue, I'll see, does anyone do that? Does anyone attempt to get in her way, or does everyone just kind of leave her to her own devices?
Basil's kind of just turned away and only is hearing what was going on.
Okay.
And is just actually taking a seat at the table and kind of just staring at the candle like, this just had to be let out.
Okay.
Real quick, Neon.
Yes. Hi, RT, if you're still here.
How do I make sure this is going only to you?
Are you doing a roll or you're trying to send a message?
Send a message.
Make sure it starts with slash, like /W space and then game master.
/W space game master.
Game master's all one word.
Yeah, I'm just doing. No, that didn't
No,
work.
that's //
Oh, yeah, I know what the difference is.
Yes. that
There
works.
we go. Okay.
Ooh, okay, okay. Grigor, I need you to roll me an investigation check, please. Okay.
Okay, ads.
What?
Ads.
Oh, yeah. Daxori, as you're getting lost in this, and Grigor, you're sitting next to this, and it's starting like all of this now hits you, and you start to feel sick, and your face goes a little pale, and as I said, mentioned that you took that damage. As you're glancing away, you catch something out of the corner of your eye that glistens on Daxori's cheek, and for a second you swear it looked like a tear, but you're not sure as you continue to look away and look back at the group. But if nobody else moves to stop Daxori, Daxori, you continue for a little bit longer. Do you stop yourself, or do you continue this act of mutilating this corpse?
She eventually just kind of like starts to slow down, and she gets to the point of where she leaves her knife in the guy, stands up, kind of calls Scorch in a lazy manner, and makes her way back down the stairs towards the dungeon.
Okay, so you make it to the door.
What? Hang on, I'm question, but why to the dungeon? Just if I can ask.
That's just where she wants to go.
Okay.
As you open the door and the light from the
or-
room spills down into the staircase, you notice Scorch is not following you.
Oh, okay. She at this point, in this moment, with what she's going through in her mind, she doesn't care.
Okay. Somebody said, was that Melon? Did you say,
Maybe,
No,
but
that
I don't
was-
know what for.
Okay, I was
That
making
was
sure.
me. I was gonna ask if Scorch was following, and you said whether or
Oh,
not
yeah,
you
no.
you clarified.
Nope, Scorch, when you lazily called him, he looked up at you. Like, he was already looking at you, but even the dog is almost too nervous or scared to move in your direction.
Gotcha.
So I'll say that Daxori, you start walking down the stairs. What does everybody else do?
Well, since Scorch didn't go with her, seeing as he's probably like right behind, right next to Basil's just gonna calmly put a hand down next to him and like click his fingers together and hope that Scorch just comes over, because I think Scorch also needs comfort right now.
Okay.
So Basil's trying to give Scorch pets.
Absolutely lets the pets come, but you notice Scorch has his eyes locked on the cellar door.
Basil has his eyes locked on the candle, so this is all just blind movement.
Gotcha. Okay.
Basil knows that pain.
Okay. Does anybody else do anything?
Gregor goes to pick up the potions Alton dropped.
Okay. Hang on. I have to. Okay, that's right. Yeah. So one is a small green potion, and the other is a small red potion, and they're just sitting on the floor. And as you grab them, I will actually wait. I can't remember if I added those to Othwin's inventory. Hang on.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I don't think you did yet.
No, I did not. Okay, cool.
I just picked them up when we did
I think that's
this.
why I didn't add them. So yeah. Excuse me. I am so sorry. I have a phlegmy throat tonight.
How dare.
I know, right?
How dare you, Neon? Oh,
Okay. So as you pick up the small green and red potion and put them into your bag, which they are now in your inventory, does anybody else do anything in the room?
Nope. I'm curious if the squirrel is at all tippy tapping, or is he just standing on
Yeah.
the
What is the squirrel doing in this moment? Because you watched all this happen and didn't seem to mentally affect you, but this is your first impression of these newfound creatures you've just found yourself with.
Oh, I just realized that.
But after just watching that, Tips is like, well, that happened.
Basil is basically leaning on the table while also petting the dog, so he's like right next to the squirrel creature. If the squirrel is trying to ask any questions.
I just realized the party couldn't see that, but that mystery dice I rolled, it was a natural one.
Wow.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know what Neon has in store, but whatever it is, it ain't good.
Oh no.
Mm.
Nothing to see here. Continue on.
Well, Tyro just spontaneously combusts into flame.
So I'm
So...
resistant to fire. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah, the room's made of wood, so I mean, you take that with what you want.
Well, at this point, Tip's just gonna let her mind connect to everyone in the room now.
Okay.
So, does that happen often?
No, not
Yep.
often.
Depends on who you ask.
I need everybody but Dax and Talina to roll me, and I'm sorry, everybody but the squirrel, Dax, and Talina to roll me a history check, please.
I'm just a squirrel.
I mean, you haven't introduced yourself, so as of now, you're a squirrel.
Oh, that is true.
Basil don't know nothing.
Basil don't know nothing.
Basil don't know nothing about nobody.
Yep.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
No, I'm confused.
Thank goodness we have nerds in the party.
Okay. Merrick, as this is all happening, you start to recall some words that had been said some time earlier during the meeting that you actually were listening in on, that you were eavesdropping on. And you remember hearing that somebody is going to be here at dawn. And you start remembering, oh, wait, someone's going to be here soon. And you glance over in the direction of the door you watched the kobold chef go out of, and you start to wonder, wait, what time is it?
Oh, that reminds me. Did we ever get the name of that kobold cook?
No, he scurried off.
Okay. That explains why he's question mark in my notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope. You basically saved him, and then he left.
We might want to get moving.
I mean, we
Talina,
have
I
no
think you
money.
were with me. They were talking about someone coming to pick these plans up.
That does ring a faint bell. I mean, if we have what we need, there's no reason to stick around. There's a door right there as she, like, tilts her head towards the little kitchenette area.
Basil still staring at the candle and still petting the dog. Is somebody going to go down and grab her?
And then from the side of the room, you hear, "Oh, sure as hell ain't gonna be me." And Spitwick has harumps as he puts his arms in a crossed arms fashion.
You don't know. Part of me wants to just say thanks for volunteering, Spitwick.
You know what? My brain went the same way. Going to Leia puts on this big grin and like in the most cutesy, like obviously joking but kind of serious ways goes, "Thank you for volunteering."
His eyes,
Like in a questiony tone.
yeah, his eyes get big. He doesn't move yet, but he looks confused and concerned as he glances between you guys.
Basil finally breaks eye contact with the candle and looks directly at Spitwick. Just like Basil's expression looks defeated because he partially knows the pain that she's going through.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion check. A non-verbal persuasion check.
Would that be with advantage?
We all know that Basil is not very charismatic.
Yeah, and you're also stoic quite a bit of the time, so your expressions all kind of look the same. So, which is good. The dice are telling a story. He looks at you and just kind of sits there and and then you just kind of watch as he subtly shrugs his shoulders, looking at you, and does like the what look. He doesn't say anything, but
with that, Basil's just gonna look back to the doorway of where Dax went.
So, you want little dude over here to go down and talk to the red person? Is that what I'm trying to gather here?
Assuming Squirrel is always mind talking.
Yes, that's how she communicates.
Maybe, maybe not.
Purely out of curiosity, Telena's just going to try to mind speak back. That was sort of a joke, but yes.
I can help with
What,
that.
the trying to mind speak back?
well, so if I'm not mistaken, hold on.
Depends on the way she gives it to us.
Yeah. To my knowledge, I don't believe that you can, unless you have telepathy, that you can speak back telepathically to a creature that's using telepathy.
I thought that's how it worked.
I'm double checking. Hold on.
I don't know how telepathy works. I just know I can.
Well, it depends, because there's some sending spells where when the sender sends it out, you can respond to it. Like the old CR2, you can respond to this message. Like, same thing. But if your language is telepathy, which it is, I don't know. Here it is.
So
You
the
can speak
spell
telepathically to any
telepathy-
creature you can see, provided the creature is within a number of feet equal to 10 times your level. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic utterances, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. So, it doesn't really answer the question wholeheartedly. I'm going to make a ruling on this that you can speak telepathy to them. They can't speak telepathically back to you unless you cast some sort of like, because there's spells, right, where you can do like, where like it like links everybody's minds together to speak telepathically to each other, or sending stones or things like that. But you just speaking telepathically to them, I'm going to say that they can't speak telepathically back to you unless they do something arcane in nature to do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to run it, since it's your quote-unquote spoken language.
Yeah,
So,
'cause, like the telepathy spell that would allow that is an 8th level spell.
correct, yes. That's what I mean.
That's
Like,
only a one-on-one for
Yeah,
24 hours. So.
exactly. And then and so the spells that basically allow you to speak telepathically back, like in order to balance this out, essentially, I'm going to say, like, so you go to mind speak back and you just like think real hard and there's nothing.
Elena just looks expectantly at the squirrel.
Yeah.
Like, you going to answer or what?
Yeah. And you see Talina looking at you with like this look on her face of like, come on, and you didn't hear anything.
What? Why are you staring at me like that?
And this time out loud, she goes, I guess that this is a one-way thing. We were sort of joking, but sort of not. The red one, as you graciously called her should come with, but in her own time, at her own terms, not too long from now.
I can
And I'm
try
gonna
and go
take it.
reason with her, but I've already tried it once or twice, and I don't know if I've gotten through to her.
Neon.
Yes.
I'll make sure.
Hold on.
Are you trying to go downstairs?
Well, that, but also,
Because yeah, I didn't set up a teleport properly to go back downstairs. I goofed. So as far as I'm concerned, you're downstairs, but
okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna take another peek through the door. Make sure there's nothing
Okay.
still.
Yeah, you take another peek, and you can see the flickering of candlelight coming from the room adjacent to you. You can see the flickering of the torches in the far hall. From your angle, you can make out some of the edges of the statues and the blood that is now very dried and stained on the floor. And as it goes silent for a moment, as it goes silent for a moment, you start to kind of like try to listen in a little bit more, and it's just a very empty, drafty house. You don't hear much of anything as of now.
Basil's going to
You-
stand up and basically tap on his leg for Scorch to follow as he moves towards the door. Silently.
Yep.
Just going.
Scorch does actually follow you. He kind of tip-taps behind. Okay, as you close the door, you guys all hear it latch shut, and you're now in this room more or less alone.
If anything, we might want to follow them. Best leave the way we came in, unseen.
You want to go through that entire catacombs back to... I mean, that would bring us back to Casivus.
And we know the way. And most of it is now clear thanks to us.
There's still that fire trap we should be careful of.
We'll figure it out.
Just a question, but did Scorch actually follow Basil all the way?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he is right behind you. He's about 5 feet behind you.
Before Basil goes down the stairs, he's just going to be carefully peeking and trying to find Dax if she went all the way down.
How far did Dax go into the cellar?
Oh, she went all the way down.
Okay, did she go down into the catacombs or just into the
No.
cellar?
She's in the cellar.
Okay.
And she is. What does the cellar look like again? Hold on.
Hang on, I got you.
Yeah, I went to the main
good, okay.
basement. She's in the cellar,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gone into the she's gone into the cell that Spitwick was in.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's sitting on the ground with her knees to her chest and her back to the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and she's fallen asleep.
Just passed right out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Basil, as you come down the creaky stairs and into the dimly lit cellar, very quickly you glance up and see.
Is the torch lit? And can I
Yes,
see? Because it's dark in here.
It is still lit down there. Yes.
Okay.
And it's dimly lit because there's only one torch, but it is still lit. Dax is in the cell you found Spitwick in, and is just curled up almost exactly where Spitwick was, and is just passed out.
Basil crouches down next to her and just kind of nudges her a little bit, seeing if she stirs.
No response. She is gone to the world at this point.
Looking over at Scorch, giving them a good old ear scritch, and then going to pick up Dax and piggyback her up.
How's that gonna work? She's a 6-foot woman.
He's a barbarian.
Oh, that's
Basil's
true.
barbarian that may look like a skinny twig boy, but
Chonky boy.
you know his strength score.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
I will
true.
say, go ahead and just obviously this is not so much an issue as can you, it's just how successful. Go ahead and roll me a strength check, please. Yeah, you
How
very
many times you drop her before you?
yeah, no, you not only do you actually are able to just scoop her up pretty swiftly, you don't struggle, drop, or even wake her up. It's just kind of a zoop, and you've got her. And you are you holding her kind of like cradle style, fireman's carry, like?
It's a piggyback.
Oh, it's a
Like
piggyback.
the-
Okay.
It's the little small child fell
Yep.
asleep in your piggyback.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you very
And
I mean,
then
with the 23,
a
very
little bit
quickly.
of a little bit of a pat on Basil's leg and come to Scorch, and they go back upstairs.
Okay. Yeah. And with that, yep, I see it.
Yeah, Dax would be like basically just limp against Basil.
Yeah, basically a ragdoll.
Yeah.
Okay. And normally this kind of weight would like, the just dead weight would be a struggle for most people, but you don't seem to have a problem with this. But as you're scooping her up, you notice that what's kind of hidden on her reddish skin is between all of the blood stains and dust and everything that's been accrued over the past couple days. You notice very clear tear marks coming down her cheeks from beneath her eyes that are
All right.
very fresh.
Before the pickup, before any of that, Basil, in a moment to save Dax's dignity, will wipe the tears away before scooping her up.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, all right, consider it done. So then, after that, you scoop her up, are able to kind of sling her on your back like a backpack, give your leg a quick pat, and the three of you come back upstairs. And as the rest of you guys were discussing the exit strategy, the three of them emerge from the cellar with Daxori passed out asleep on Basil's back, and Scorch shortly very close behind.
Keeping
I don't know.
Keeping Dax on Basil's back, he's going to just kind of give a shh like motion.
I don't know why, but that's a very comical image of Basil carrying Dax.
A little bit.
I mean, okay, how tall did I make Basil? That's a good
You're
question.
5'10", 5'11", or something like that, aren't you?
5'6".
She's
okay.
6'2".
It's
Hey,
fine.
So
No.
backing up for a
It's
second,
fine.
as you guys were discussing the plan and they're going back upstairs, you're hearing footsteps, then you're hearing as her toes are getting dragged along every step as they go up
It's
the
not
staircase.
that short. It's not that much, is it? No.
6 foot what? What was it? It was 6 foot.
6'2".
I don't know. 6
She's a
foot 2 on a 5'6".
She's a 6'2" tiefling.
Not that bad.
I don't. It'd be close. It'd be at least on a few of those steps.
Okay, there might be a couple, but he's gonna
Actually-
get up there no problem.
Actually, you know what? No, because in order to give somebody a piggyback ride, you usually scoop their legs under your arms. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, never
Yeah.
mind. You're good. I can't believe we're having a conversation about that. But anyways, you guys emerge back into the room, and Talina, Merrick, Grigor, you guys, and Squirrel, you guys notice as the three of them come back into the room with Daxori asleep, slung on Basil's back.
I'm gonna assume we hear him coming up because I doubt he remembered the very creaky step that was like the third one.
Oh yeah,
from the
you
top
100%.
or something. So as I hear them coming back up, I'm gonna start heading towards the front, back, whatever the hell door to the outside that one is.
Okay. Yeah. So as you walk over into the
And
other room,
before I
and-
turn the corner, I'm just gonna like look over my left shoulder to make sure that people are A, seeing, and or B, coming with.
Spitwick just scampers across the room as quickly as he can, and you hear him kind of wincing and grimacing and making small sounds of pain as he scurries under the table and joins you at your side to follow you out. Okay, so as you basically make your way to the door, and you know that it's not locked because you watched the kobold go out, do you just immediately open the door, or do you do anything?
I don't remember if there's a window in the door.
Mm-mm.
I don't think there is.
Nope, it's just a door.
There is a keyhole, but if I remember correctly, the other side goes down. Heck it, we gently open them,
Okay.
and like
I thought-
peek in through the tiniest crack that I can, and just opening it more and more and more, but keeping an eye to make sure I don't opening it into like a group of ambush.
Yep. So as you do that, the door opens, and um,
The music changes.
yeah, yeah. Wow,
Windy.
lighting change. Yeah, no. As you creak the door open, and everybody hears, and it reaches its full opening, you find yourself looking out into the night air of a a nighttime Duruun. Essentially, you basically immediately outside the door you see grass around the outskirts of the building here. You're on like a small wooden landing that has one simple staircase that kind of goes off to your right, down a couple of stairs to the grass below, and then it's maybe 10 feet from the edge of the house to the tree line. And it's very clear that this area the landscaping has not been kept up. Obviously this is an abandoned manor, so the grass is really tall. The trees have grown up very close to the house. The tree line is thick. As soon as it hits that tree line, I mean, it's just green wall. You can't see into the woods at all. You're not 100% sure which direction you're facing or where you're at, but you are outside of the manor, and it seems to be quiet. You can hear the wind rustling through the trees nearby. You can tell a storm is probably brewing and is headed into the city. It seems quiet. You can see the moon up above, that's getting slightly broken and obscured by scattered clouds that are starting to form.
I'm gonna step down and like, scan the. I was gonna say horizon, but like as much as the horizon / end of line of sight that I have to make sure there's nothing like waiting in ambush or keeping an eye on the area or something. Like, are we actually alone in this area?
Dearest Game Master, could you move the tokens that are still in the room outside?
I mean, we'll just go. We're gonna go to
I'm
theater of the mind
stuck.
at this point because basically,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, you're fine. So I'm sorry. What was Tyra? What was the question?
I'm scanning
Yes.
the outside to make sure there's nobody like
Yes.
waiting in ambush before I fully go out.
Roll me an investigation check, please. And I'll say with advantage
Yeah.
because you have dark vision.
This would be perception because it's far away.
Sorry. Yes.
It
Perception.
doesn't matter for
yes.
my.
Nope.
Actually, yeah, it kind of does
Yep.
matter for
Nope.
my.
I apologize.
modifier.
Perception, not investigation. Cool. Okay. As you step out on the creaky landing and you hear the squeaks beneath you, you stop. You take a second and you scan basically 180 degrees from left to right because you recognize you're on the side of the house and you can see all the way down the side of the house one way and a little bit down this way until you see it break off right, and you know that's obviously at the corner of the house. But from the 180 degrees that you can scan, you see nothing. I mean, you don't see any movement. You don't see or hear anyone speaking or walking. You don't hear any twigs snapping. You hear the occasional bird off in the distance. And when you really start to focus and start to really kind of just calm yourself and listen, in the very, very distance, you can hear what's probably the sounds of the city of Duruun, kind of echoing up into the night air, indicating that you're not that far away from town. But you don't see or hear anyone else.
Cool. I put my nose towards the noise of the city and head in that direction after going down the stairs, obviously. And since you said it's theater of the mind, I'm just gonna stand there.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Token.
So yeah, so as the rest of everybody files out of the house and follows Talina into the night, you guys kind of quietly make your way from the edge of the house into the tree line, one by one disappearing into the night as you guys vanish into
Intermission?
the tree. And then yes, here's where we can go ahead and take a quick break
Wait.
if anybody needs to run to the
Wait.
restroom, grab anything to eat, anything like that.
I was going to do a thing.
You're gonna do a thing, or what are you gonna do?
Merrick waited for everyone to leave
Okay.
before. I don't know if the candles on the table would have been enough. But whether it takes a candle or spells, he made sure to start a fire.
Okay. So first things first is Fox. Did the squirrel follow everyone out of the room?
Yes.
Okay. Second thing, I assume, but I'm just going to double check. Scorch is following Basil and Asleep Dax, right? Like you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making
Yeah.
sure. Okay. I like how Shadow's like, yes, dog is following. Don't leave dog in the house.
Vassal has made sure that
okay.
Scorch keeps following.
Okay, cool. So everyone at this point, including Spitwick and everybody, is out of the house. As everyone's leaving, Merrick, you kind of linger back, and no one really seems to pay any attention to the fact that you're lingering, and everyone's kind of passing you, making their way from the building across the 10 feet of grass into the tree line. And being the last one in here, there's several candles that are still lit, and you take several of them, and you place them around the room, using some of the leftover scraps of sacks that are in the corner room here, maybe some of the clothes and whatnot. But you know what? Do this. Roll me a d20 and add +2. Okay.
Cringe.
So you use the candles and you actually so you take one of the candles and you actually set it on the clothing of one of the dead low hoods that's in the room. That's the room that you were in. And it does start to catch him on fire a little bit, but then it just kind of sit there and smolders. It's just a candle. It's not really like really catching the way that you'd expect. It's just kind of singeing the edge of his clothes and his cloak, and it's just kind of slowly burning up the fabric, but it's not really setting things ablaze. And it takes you a couple of seconds until you realize, wait a minute, alcohol. They had alcohol, and you go in the other room and you grab the last little bottle that has some maybe rum or something in it, and you take it and you douse what's little left in it on top of this one low hood, and then you set it again. And he lights up, and set the couple candles around and whatnot, and you notice that okay, it's starting to catch, and it's taking a little bit of time. And everybody else, you recognize Merrick hasn't exited the building yet. No, you guys grabbed all that. That was collected.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, you guys found everything. And slowly but surely the room starts to catch on fire, and everyone else outside, you guys are like, man, where's Merrick? And it's at this point that one of you, I don't know who, would start to make their way back to the building, and that's when Merrick steps outside, closes the door behind him, and do you just rejoin them? Do you say anything, or?
I don't say anything. I just rejoin.
Okay, so then yeah,
I make sure because I had the plans on me still. I didn't give them to anyone, so I just made sure that people see that I still have those in whatever box they're supposed to be in.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
From a confirmation of we got it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again. Sorry, I was doing two things at once.
Or it's like just reinforcing that we got what we came for,
yes.
basically.
Yeah. To clarify, because the question was asked if we had Spitwick's gear, it was found up with the stuff upstairs with the scrolls and stuff. It was found in the same spot. So yeah, you guys have his stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember now. We did bring all that.
Yes. Yeah, you guys found it. So you guys have all his belongings and you have the scrolls, and everyone exits the building. And after a couple of moments of you guys kind of walking back to the tree line and Merrick not saying anything, you guys all start to notice the subtle splash of orange that starts to appear, smattering through the darkness of the moonlit forest you guys are walking through. And you guys glance over your shoulder and notice that the house is starting to become engulfed in flames, as you guys are now several hundred yards away from it and continuing to grow in distance. And it is here that we will take a quick break and run to the restroom and get drinks and snacks and everything. All right.
Just starting to catch on California forest fire. It's fine.
BRB.
Yep, BRB. All right, guys, we will be right back.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that. Why the hell is the sidebar floating over the map?
I've returned.
Welcome back. So the right-hand sidebar, is that on top of the map for you? Because for me, it's blocking like a solid third of the map, given of how I split my screen between Twitch chat and the game. Like if I want to see the Kestrel village, I have to basically put my sidebar on encounter mode, so I can see through it.
Where? What are you talking about?
So in the game screen itself, right?
Yeah.
Can you see on the right-hand side? Can you see the text North Duruun, or is that behind the chat for you?
It's behind the chat, but if I zoom in and go over, I should be. Nope, I can't find it.
Yeah.
I can't zoom in close enough to do it.
Okay.
I can close that side thing to see everything.
Fair. Yeah, you can also set it to the second tab, the encounters one, to be able to see through it. That's a little. That's something that Roll20 does better, I find. It doesn't have the chat block the game screen. But it's like the one thing it does better. I'm just not a fan of losing that entire bit of information. Like on this map, it doesn't matter, but on other maps, it might become annoying if we're fighting on the right hand side.
It's why there's usually a lot of empty space around. I'm pretty sure this is just an image.
Yeah. We might have to ask Neon if he wants to add some empty space on the right of every map so we can actively use the entire area.
The tavern isn't noted on the map. I'm a little disappointed. The tavern that everybody that we were all going to constantly isn't noted on the map.
Right? The University Row has an icon. I don't remember what that is, but the checks notes. What is the tavern name? I should know this. The Lucky Tankard.
Yeah, freaking. I mean, it's right next to Glimmer's Curio Emporium, as far as I remember. About right there. Which is also, unironically, where we fought the serpent.
Yeah, I remember this. There.
Are you just putting up
Yep.
little random? Okay. Okay.
One of the benefits of having helped Neon with the one shot that is being planned is I have learned how to do things on maps.
Nice.
I didn't do the other things, but I can do this.
Also, holy heckin' catacombs! If we went from this side of the city to over here,
Wait, we're over there, Smell?
I'm guessing that's where we're supposed to be.
I'm assuming the red circle is the somewhere where Casivus is hiding.
Somewhere.
I'll back.
Welcome back.
You're not just back, you're a backpack.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, I hate it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
You are not wrong.
Nope. Never wrong.
Gonna shove my resume over there. No, I'm not.
What?
You have no.
What?
I was responding to tie rope.
I was just finding the monohold.
Oh, okay.
What? What?
What?
Chat, I'm sorry, not sorry. I don't even know if they can hear me. We're on a BRB screen.
I think they can.
I was about to say, I think they can still hear us.
Are you guys arguing about which shop is better?
No. No.
I
That
made
is
the
never
comment.
going to be committed to chat. to stream.
Oh,
Nope.
Neon,
Mhm.
we need the hold on. Let me find it. I must find it.
Huh?
Give me a second. I'm
Okay.
finding it.
I'm just. Yeah.
The map is covered by the side. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the right hand sidebar.
Just
is
zoom out.
covering part of the map.
We
No,
can't zoom out far
you can't
enough.
zoom out, but you have empty space on the side.
And if I'm
used-
zoomed out all the way, I can't like scroll over to basically have North Duruun be like central, so I can actually see in that area.
Can you guys right click and move the map up and down?
Up and down,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
But
Oh.
to see North
that.
Duruun, I have to close that sidebar area.
Okay, hold on. I didn't know it was doing that to you guys because it shouldn't be. Oh,
Neon, you need to have this
there we go.
going right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, look, now we can pan and everything.
Sorry.
Hooray!
You need to have
Oh.
that going while we're waiting.
Well, we're not having technical difficulties though. I just needed to.
I
go
know,
to
but it just says please stand by. It may
we
be
just
called
not-
technical
not able to come
difficulties,
out?
but it's not just for technical difficulties.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. Is everyone back though? Or are we waiting on anybody?
Possibly. Hi.
Let's see. Jesse's back. Ty's back. Shadow's back. Melon's here.
I never left. Which
I know
was a
Monhold's
mistake.
here. Is Fox here?
If it
No,
was
not
on
yet.
the go take a
Foxy.
couple
Okay,
minutes.
given that Fox is still AFK, I'm gonna do.
Foxy.
Oh, I can't play that because it's got Spanish Flea. I'll get dinged for it.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, Spanish Flea is an actual copyrighted song.
Oh, well then
Otherwise, I
you're just
absolutely
gonna
would.
Oh, Foxy's back.
you're just gonna have to do this then.
I'll just.
No, that one.
Oh yes,
Used to
yes,
be
yes, the elevator music.
Dragon and Blade an owl, and now Fox
Playing a
playing a
squirrel.
squirrel.
Yep. What is reality?
I get
I
it.
don't
You
know.
no longer
Okay.
like flying things.
I'm
really
not gonna
bummed,
lie.
actually, because I love Spanish Flea. It's a great little like just background song.
Not gonna lie, this elevator
actually-
music actually kind of hit
It kind of
different.
slaps, yeah.
What, the one
Yeah,
we found
Spanish
last
Flea is
time?
protected by copyright by the Alamo Music Corporation, so I cannot play it.
Damn.
Yep.
That's tragic.
Which sucks
Copyright
because
cringe.
it's a great background song.
Well, this elevator music's a good second option.
Yep, here.
I mean, if I still had my headphones, I could practice it enough. I could have just done a rendition. But, no.
And this music actually kind of slaps.
It really does.
Didn't we discuss this last time?
Yes, we did.
Where are you listening to it?
The
Sorry?
YouTube video that I linked to Shadow last time, that Shadow linked
Ah.
again this time.
Neon's playing it on his BRB screen.
Yep. It's funny because it reminds me of the three Caballeros, the Disney movie with Donald and the rooster. And the parrot. Yeah.
Well, this game, well, not this game. This music also reminds me of a game I play. Have you ever heard of Tropico?
I have heard of Tropico. Yes,
It reminds me of Tropico music.
that's funny. Actually, that's a great idea. How do I do that?
I don't know. I've not streamed as an affiliate for a long time, so I don't know how to run that. Is somewhere on the dashboard as a button? Probably, maybe. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
How to manually run an ad to disable
I
it.
think I just did it. I hit a button, but I don't think it worked.
We love hitting buttons.
There you go. I found the button I should have clicked.
Fuck it, we do it live.
There we go. I'm running a 1-minute ad.
Ad.
And pre-rolls are now disabled for the next hour.
There you go.
Fox, are you back? Yay!
You didn't hear me say back? Just even
It has
repeat it.
been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
oh,
we
well,
even talked.
okay. Well, this is awkward. Now I gotta wait 30 seconds till this ad's done.
It's fine.
By the way, can chat hear us during the VNP screen?
Yes.
Yes.
They heard us talk about the map. And
Oh,
how I
yes,
put the
yes, they
lucky
did, yeah.
tankard on the map.
Well, they can't hear us now because there's ads.
Well,
Fuck you, chat.
Only the people who
Subs and
aren't
Prime
subs.
members.
Wow. Wow.
Rude. Okay, and ads are done.
Yeah.
Okay, moving back.
Go back.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hope
So
your
yes,
break was good.
as you guys can see, since last you guys were on this screen, I'm putting like points of interest on the map with like little icons to make things easier for us. So
Mhm.
you guys are currently up here, on the northwestern side of the map.
I was just commenting. Holy catacombs, we went far.
Yes, you did. Like it literally went across the city. That was the whole point. That was why it took so long. Because you guys were literally crossing the entire city in a very kind of like, in a way that while direct and avoided city guard, avoided more low hood, like major low hood in entanglements and such. Obviously was a little more time consuming ultimately because of the way you guys did it. But that being said, yes, Monhole, the northwestern corner of just Duruun, not South Duruun, just Duruun. Oh, hold on, I forgot. I need to turn off the. I'm like, wait, what does that sound? The elevator music is still playing. Oh, that's not what I want. Actually, that's fine.
Is Barbot not running? There we go.
Now it is.
There we go. I just turned it back on. Okay. So as you guys have been making your way kind of through the denser wooded area of this part of the city, it doesn't take you long until the woods start to thin up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until you find yourself exiting the forest near some other dwellings. And for Talina and Grigor, you guys know that you guys are on the outskirts of what's known as Amber Point, or the very affluent part of the city where a lot of the mansions and manors are found and where a lot of the upper society has their homes. You obviously know you're near the cliffs and that you're near the river. The rest of you guys can hear the river down below, and can tell that you guys are obviously on that part of the city. It doesn't take long it doesn't take very long of traveling or walking until you actually leave the edge of Amber Point and re-enter the Riverside District, right there on the River Tyne. As you guys continue to make your way through the city, it is early morning hours, so it's like it's still technically night, but it's about this time that the creeping sun starts to pop up on the horizon and the morning light starts to ever so slightly make its way across the land, and you guys can tell it's almost morning. Do you guys want to do anything as you continue to make your way eastward, or
I'm assuming we cross those stairs at the north end of Amber Point.
you guys were actually moving like this way along the cliff, and then you kind of exited like kind of here-ish,
Okay.
and then kind of went this
Gotcha.
way. Yeah.
In that case, never mind. I would not recommend the detour because we're nowhere near the detour.
Correct.
Thinking maybe go to the different tower, but no. Also, for the sake of sunlight sensitivity, is the sun up or down?
The sun is not up yet. It is just starting to creep above the horizon, so it's still it's that twilight morning hour, before not twilight but dawn. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where the sun is not up yet, but it is slowly starting to make its way up. Do you guys do anything, or is there any conversations you want to have while you're because it's a bit of a trek?
Basil's just staying focused on keeping Dax on his back.
Okay.
While also making sure Scorch stays following.
Yeah, Scorch seems to be following you, especially with Dax on your back.
Gurgur would ask Spitwick for his dagger back.
Did Spitwick have your dagger?
I assume Spitwick picked it up after he woke up, since I left it with him while he was unconscious.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And it takes a second for him to realize that he has it, and then he goes, "Oh, here you go," and he hands it back to you. Fox, as this group is kind of trekking their way out of the woods, as you guys emerge from the woods into a town, you recognize that you are in a city, and you are on the edge of a city, but it doesn't take you long to realize that you are in a city of some pretty moderate size. And obviously it's still kind of like dark, and you quickly recognize that it's morning, whereas where you just came from, it definitely was not morning. So the time difference is kind of messing with you. But it is still kind of dim and dark, and there's obviously not very many people, if anyone, on the streets, and it seems very quiet. But kind of you're starting to kind of understand a little bit more that you're definitely not in Kansas anymore. Do you continue to follow this strange group?
Yes. Out of curiosity.
Okay. Okay. If there's anything that anybody wants to interject with, just go ahead and let me know. But for now, you guys would be continuing to head east into the Riverside District, kind of following the river. And after a pretty decent walk, you guys find yourselves actually near the warehouse that you had originally taken the plans from a couple days prior. And the doors are ajar. Sorry, it's still morning. The doors are closed, but you can see the dim light of lantern light coming from inside the window, indicating that whoever is, that the proprietor of that place is probably back in his warehouse working. You guys pass the warehouse and continue along the dock front, the waterfront, excuse me. And you guys recognize that you're starting to get close to the Lucky Tankard. And it's about the time that you guys are getting to the Lucky Tankard that the sun is now starting to come up. It is now, morning time, and you can hear the sound of the city kind of waking itself up as you guys are approaching the Tankard.
I look at somewhere along the line, probably just ask the coastline turns from forested to built. Talina will look at Tipperary and ask, so that teleport glyph thing, was that your doing, or did that happen to you?
Well, it's definitely my doing. It just randomly sends me places when I want it to.
Do you know what happens to anything that might be in the place you happen to end up in?
Oh, yeah. So if I get teleported to another person's place, they go where I was.
Huh. Where were you?
I was in a forest. I don't remember where. I was traveling with a group at one point, and then I got bored. They were doing stuff. I don't know what they were doing.
Fox's character got bored? What? Sorry. It was right there.
So, while they were sleeping, I said, I'm going to go figure out a new place. And I teleported, and here I am.
Well, here's hoping none of them are allergic to birds.
No, I'm pretty sure one of them had one. I think it was a bird.
Now they have two.
Oh.
It's Talina, by the way. She goes to shake paws, and then is the squirrel walking on all fours or on two?
It's kind of a combination of both, kind of like a normal squirrel would. It kind of will transfer to when if they stop kind of sitting on the hunch legs.
Yeah, given that we're walking, talking, and
Yeah.
you probably have to use all force to keep up. I'm just gonna like turn, lower my arm, and then just like play it off as if she didn't try because clearly the paws are occupied.
Like, I guess I should tell you guys what my name is if I'm gonna, kind of be following you right now. Hi, I'm Tippery Bristletail at your service.
At our servers?
I don't know. That was a mannerism I was taught.
Wait, did you say at our servers? Is that what you said?
No, at her service. Like,
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I thought that would be hilarious. At your servers. Like, I just thought that was really funny. But,
That's
okay.
what I heard. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm Telena, and
I'm in your servers.
There's a glitch in the matrix. Quick, run.
And here I was thinking of the hospitality type of servers, not the IT type of servers, but here we are.
That's what I was thinking too, is like a waiter or a waitress.
Oh, I immediately went to IT servers.
That's fine.
I just went the dwarfs from the Hobbit.
The red one, as you referred to her previously, is called Dax, and the rest is awake enough to introduce themselves.
Basil still just keeping the stoic calm that he is, simply says his name, Basil.
Grigor would introduce himself as Grigor.
Does Merrick
Everybody
offer
does?
any? Does Merrick offer any introduction? Excuse me.
Is it assumed the squirrels going around asking everyone names because the conversations are always one-on-one, aren't they?
No.
No,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I can open my mind to talk to everybody at once, like a normal person, but in the head.
Yeah. So like you'll
And
hear
also,
like
Telena
everybody
would
will.
have spoken out loud, so.
Yeah. Basically, the way that it'll work is like as if you were speaking to like verbally like normal. Whoever she opens her mind to will hear her, like whether it's in a group setting or not. You just you have to respond verbally.
I would have introduced myself as Merrick.
Okay. So as you guys continue along and names have been swapped at this point, after this conversation, the sun is now kind of starting to, like I said, starting to show its height, and the town's starting to wake up. And it's about this time that you guys get back to the Lucky Tankard, and it's just about that time that the shifts are changing, and the nighttime bartender is headed upstairs to go to sleep, and the daytime bartender is coming down, and the little busboy is headed off to his home to go get some rest, and you notice that there's a barmaid that's leaving the facility to go get some sleep as well, dressed in a bright red dress and yawning as she kind of rounds the corner and veers away from you guys. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Hold on, I totally remember this. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, mine was a guy left at home. I don't know anything.
Wow, my notes are garbage.
Don't worry, mine are too. I think I've lost them.
It's only epilogue.
What do you mean? This is the epilogue of the prologue.
Bro, I don't know. Words. It's still the tutorial part. Nobody cares.
It's still the tutorial part. Wow. Wow.
Damn.
Congratulations, we're finished with the tutorial quest.
Some games it can be that long, let's be honest. Huh. All right, Tyrope, you're going to have to help me out with your notes because My notes are incomplete.
Are you talking about the barkeep?
Yes, I am.
I think I still have it
good
in
old Stoutbeard.
obsidian.
What was his name?
Durnham
Tyro.
Durnham Stoutbeard.
That's right. That's right. Duruun Stoutbeard. Yeah. Okay. So as you guys are, I don't know why I don't have that in my notes. That's so weird. I wrote it down somewhere. Obviously, I had to give it to you, but for some reason, it's.
Maybe it took his character token.
He's never had a character.
He didn't have a character
before, I
token.
think.
Cringe.
Very, very weird. Anyways, as you guys are entering the kind of remembering the way the tankard is set up, you guys can kind of walk through it if you guys wish. So you guys are kind of walking near it, and you see Duruun. He's just kind of swapped places with the nighttime barkeep, and he's coming in and kind of yawning a bit as he's finishing up a platter of some kind of food. It looks to be some sort of egg and bacon sort of recipe, and finishes kind of shoveling it down as he finishes kind of waking up. And pours himself a large tankard of ale for his morning pick-me-up as he is kind of climbing behind the counter in his short dwarf stature. Do you guys stop here for a bit, or do you guys continue on to Casivus's?
At the very least, Elena's gonna pop her head in and like almost singingly and teasingly in the most brightest of moods go, like, good morning.
He yawns. Good morning. Are you staying and working today, or are you headed off somewhere?
I'll get back to you in an hour or so.
An hour. All right. I'm pretty sure I can figure that out. You want anything for the road? And he looks, and he's like stretching, and he's like, you can tell he's trying so hard to wake up, and he looks around at all of you guys as he asks the question.
I look over my shoulder to see if the group stopped at all or if they're just moving.
Merrick wouldn't have stopped.
Maybe later. She like scurries up behind the back of the group.
All right, well, see you around. Where was I? What was I doing? And he kind of wanders off. And as you guys continue on past the Glimmer's Cure Emporium, which still looks closed, as you guys know, she opens late, and make your way off into the district of which you know Casivus's kind of den is. And it's at this point that you guys notice Spitwick has kind of positioned himself to the front of the group as he's making his way into that district. And you guys notice that as you guys were leaving the tankard and kind of walking through, you see him kind of doing this thing where he's walking and kind of moving his way to the front to take lead because he knows he needs to get you there. But you also notice he's doing that thing where he's like trying to spot somebody. Like, you know, that thing where you're walking through a crowd and like you're paying attention to where you're going, but you're also like periodically like checking and scanning to see if you can see something or someone. He's doing that thing.
Looking for something?
Yeah, I thought I saw someone. That woman that left the tavern after we showed up. But I don't see her anymore. Maybe I've seen things.
The woman that left... What? I don't remember a woman. This is Ty speaking.
As you guys were coming up to the tankard, one of the nighttime barmaidens was wearing a red dress and was seen kind of leaving and then tucking around one of the corners down one of the streets.
A woman in red. Ah, the woman in red, you say? Oh, I see. He grins.
He rolls the dice. No, not like that. I was trying to make sure she wasn't around. You don't see her, do you? Because he's short and he's like trying to like look up and around.
Wait, you're trying to not be spotted?
No, I don't want
like
her
she
to
lowers,
see
She lowers her voice to make sure that it's only like the
Yeah.
immediate area around her that I can hear.
Yeah. And he's like, yes, I don't want her to see me.
Oh, you have no idea how tempted I am to make you more visible right now.
He gets real close and kind of furrows his brow and says, trust me, for both of our sakes, don't do it.
Well, I'll keep an eye out.
Roll me an investigation check. No, perception.
I'm gonna say,
Sorry,
I'm not
I keep-
actively touching things. The dice, they tell stories.
They
either
do.
crit or
They've
they
been telling
fumble.
stories
They do nothing
tonight.
else.
The dice really tell stories, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do. Okay, hold on.
Ooh, whispers.
Oh my gosh, I can't spell words.
That's okay. If you're whispering it to me, Chet can't see anyway. And I don't judge out loud.
Out loud, he says.
Yeah. I know the words I chose.
I just noticed, is that supposed to be rainwater or the river?
River.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
It
river.
sounds like rainwater.
No, rain sounds like this.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Just a quick question: Is the
Yes.
bard is the bard bot like cutting in and out every so often,
It's
or
a little bit,
stuttering
yeah,
for
'cause
anyone else?
it's a Discord bot that's transmitting audio from my computer up to the internet, down to Discord, and to you guys. So yes, even for me, it clips here and there. It's just, unfortunately, this is the cleanest I can get it. So
Okay.
yeah.
I was just making sure it wasn't just a me thing.
No, it's an everyone thing, even me, and I'm literally playing it on my own computer. Okay, so
Just ignore that then.
yep, sounds good. So
I mean, I see nothing. What are you talking about?
yeah, so Spitwick seems appeased by this and continues to lead you guys on and takes charge again. And once again, he kind of takes you on a winding, twisting path that, while semi-familiar, also seems wildly different than the paths you've taken before. And this time, you guys notice that he seems to be doubling back occasionally and doing loops around buildings, and almost like he's trying to either confuse you, he can't remember where he's going, or maybe he's trying to do there's some other motive here, and it takes him a little bit longer than it has in the past to lead you to Casivus's den. But eventually, after a bit of walking, you guys do find yourselves back in that dead-end, darkened alley that you guys are becoming familiar with. For Tip, now I can actually use your name. You notice that you have been going on this walkabout with this small gnome as your guide, and who by the way also would have introduced himself as Spitwick. I apologize, I didn't do that earlier. He would have introduced himself in the same little conversation. But he's doing circles, he's leading you, and from your perspective, it looks like he doesn't know where he's going.
So, does this guy know where he's going, or why are we following this little dude?
He's the only one who's ever gotten us to the door.
Oh, we're looking for a door. There's several thousands in this place.
The right door.
Not a door.
Oh.
The door.
Oh.
And
Have you tried knocking on all of them?
Did anybody hear Tip's question?
No, sorry.
Tip, go ahead. You can ask it again, Tip.
Has anyone tried knocking on all of the doors?
That would be a bad idea. That's how you annoy everybody and maybe get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm not your mother or your boss, so if you want to go knock on all the doors, have at it.
Oops. So it's about this time, as you guys are having this conversation about ding dong ditching half of the Duruun. You guys find yourselves in the dimly lit alley, and you guys watch as Spitwick goes to the end of the alley and disappears around the corner. And you guys all follow, as you guys have in the past. And Tip, as you come around the corner with this newfound group of yours, Spitwick is standing there right in front of you. And this time, the rest of you come around the corner expecting the hallway, and the hallway's not there. It's just a wall. And Spitwick is standing there, and he's got his arms crossed, and he's got his brow furrowed, and he's looking down at you, Tip. He goes,
"You're new. How do I trust you? You replaced one of these people with, well, yourself."
Not like I had a choice.
Kind of leans down a little bit, which for him is not a big lean. It's kind of almost just kind of leaning forward more than it is leaning down.
"But how do I know that you're not working against us?"
Spitwick,
Glances up at Basil.
if they meant any harm, they would have done so already.
That's true.
Also, we vastly outnumber it.
Also true.
I don't even know where we're at.
Also true. Very well. And turns around, and as he turns, he doesn't seem to do anything. He doesn't seem to make anything. But as he turns, literally, it's simultaneously the wall fades, and it's like it almost just it doesn't move. It's almost like an illusion, it's like when you look at a holographic card, and as you turn it, like the image changes. It's like as he turns, the wall suddenly goes from a wall, and then it becomes the corridor that leads down a little bit further towards the door that you guys are familiar with, and goes up to the door and puts the key in, and the door pushes in.
I'm going to assume I was relatively forward into the group, so I'll hold the door open while Spitwick and the rest of the party can move forward, and I'll close it behind the group.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just want to say, I know you meant like the door creaked open, but for some reason I thought there was Spitwick making that noise.
You know what? Actually, it was. He makes the noise with his mouth as the door swings open, and you see as he goes. I'm kidding. He doesn't actually do that. The door swings open. He steps in. Talina holds the door open, and the rest of you guys walk into the den. And as you guys re-enter, Tip, this is your first time, obviously, in this space. But as you step into this space, it's that sort of like double hourglass kind of shape of where you have the center section that is a rounded plush section with velvety carpet and the plush sofas and the big roaring fireplace. And then you have the other circular section off to the right, another one off to the left. And as you all step into this space, fire's still going. Place is still pretty well lit and everything. But you don't see Casivus immediately. And for those of you that entered after, those of you that entered kind of later, you guys notice you don't see Spitwick, and what Spitwick had actually wandered off to one of the side rooms. And you kind of hear shuffling and kind of things moving about. And it's after a couple of moments. Let's see, who's the tallest right now? Dax is still asleep, right?
I would say that in the meantime, Basil is moving towards one of the couches or cushioned seats and letting Dax rest on it.
Okay. Is Dax
so
still
that
asleep?
he's free from holding her?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is Dax still asleep as Basil goes to set her
Oh
down?
yeah,
on
no,
the sofa?
she's still passed out. That moment of rage and emotion for her kind just drained her.
Okay. You can take a short rest as part of all this. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of that, go ahead. I'll say that if she doesn't wake up in at least the next, I'd say hour, or no, I'm probably like 2. No, wait, sorry. Long rest is not 4 hours. You're not an elf. You're not an elf. So never mind. You get a short rest. I had to think my way through that one. Okay, so as you go and set Daxori down on the sofa, and as you set her down and kind of stand up and look up, you notice that Casivus is actually standing on the is up above you in that kind of catwalk-like space that wraps around all 3 of these rooms on his little like library, and he's standing up there and he's holding a book and he's kind of thumbing his way through it, and that's when his eyes meet yours as you kind of are standing now facing kind of turned around. So like when you walked in and set her down, you've turned around and faced the door, and then above the door on the catwalk is where Casivus is standing.
Basil, acknowledging where Casivus is, also finds a blanket nearby to drape over Dax before proceeding back to the rest of the group.
Okay. As the rest of the group kind of steps in, you drape over the blanket. Casivus glances up and says, "Oh, welcome back. One moment, I'll be right down. And he closes the book, puts it slides it back into the bookshelf, and you see as he kind of glides over, taking a couple strides, and kind of walks out of the room along the catwalk to the other side of the other room's catwalk, and then you hear footsteps on a staircase, and then he emerges from the room that's off to your left, Basil, everyone else's right, and comes out and is kind of straightening his waistcoat and his large purple jacket as he steps in. Says, "Well, you all don't look too bad." And he kind of glances around the room at your kind of collection of injuries and whatnot. And says, "On second thought, looks like you've had a bit of a shellacking, as they may say. Where is..." And Spitwick comes out of the other room, across the room from in front of him. And he's like trying to like wipe himself off with a rag, but he looks pretty rough. It's like, "Oh, well, my young friend, my little friend, you look, well, you look like shit. Gee, thanks." And he just kind of walks right past him into the other room, and you hear a door shut. Well, anyways.
Door shut violently.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Who sneezed?
I'm sorry.
That was
I
perfect
had to
timing.
cough.
You just hear a door slam in the other room. Very upset gnome. But Casivus then takes his seat in his large plush chair that's to the side of the fireplace and kind of motions for you all to take a seat. And as he kind of takes stock of the room, and as you guys pick where you're standing or sitting in the room, he starts to kind of see him doing the math in his head and goes, "Wait, you're missing someone. Where is the small feathered creature?"
Replaced by the small furry creature. She points at Tip.
Where is Tip? How does Tip come into the room?
Describe the room one more time.
So the room is, so the whole den that is Casivus' space is a little unique, where so you have the room that you're currently in. All three rooms are rounded. They're all like spheres, right? Or cylinders. And so the room that you're in is the central room, and as you came in the oh, ow, sorry, my tinnitus acting up. That hurt. When you entered the room through the doorway from the corridor, there was a fireplace directly opposite you, a large fireplace that goes all the way up to the ceiling with the big cobblestone chimney. There's then in front of it, there's several large plush like sofas and seats arranged kind of in a semicircle facing the fireplace. Casivus is sitting into the big plush armchair that's just to the right of that fireplace. All throughout the walls of this central room are bookshelves and books from basically the floor up to a landing / like catwalk that's about 10 feet off the ground. And that catwalk kind of runs along the back wall above the doorway of this circular room. And then on either side of this room are two similar looking rooms with doorways both on the ground where you guys are at, as well as up on the catwalk. And the room off to your guys' right looks like an office of some kind. It has, from what you can see, you can make out the corner of a large desk. You can see more bookshelves. On the room to the left, it looks like some sort of like seating area of some kind, possibly another like sitting area, like a lounge, or maybe like a rest area of some kind off to the left. But you can't really see too far into those rooms from where you're currently at. And the ceiling is about 20 to 25 feet high. And the room is lit by the fireplace, as well as some lanterns that are strung up on the catwalk side that give off kind of a soft yellowish glow.
So I'm just gonna like, as everyone walks, I just scurry around, like just, and not like a fast little. It's more like a slow scurry.
Okay.
It's kind of like exploring, trying to figure out what the place is.
Okay. So just kind of inspecting and investigating the room kind of as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Talina says, we replaced the feathered one for the furry one, and he kind of glances the room and then catches a glimpse of her kind of slowly darting from one bookshelf to the other. He goes, "Oh, well, hello." And he kind of says, he's sitting in his chair kind of watching Tip kind of scurry around the room. But what happened to the feathered one?
We don't know.
Next question.
That's concerning. All right. Well, I guess next question would be, and he kind of shrugs it off and shakes his head. Were you successful?
Bassel's just gonna glance at the group on that note. I think he remembers that Merrick picked up the plans.
Yeah, Merrick had collected everything in the
Yeah,
last session.
he takes off the whatever bag it was supposed to be and kind of off his shoulder. And comes up and extends it to Casivus.
He takes it and takes the tube that's holding the plans in it and uncaps the end of it and looks aside. Very good, very good. Well, perfect. And puts the cap back on and kind of seals it and sets it off to his side behind him, behind the armchair. Very good. Well, first things first is I promised payment, did I not? And he stands back up and walks over into his office area. And he's gone for just a couple of seconds, and he comes back and he's holding a small wooden chest with some iron banding on it and corner pieces and such. It's a very simple little chest. He sets it down on the coffee table and unlatches the front and opens it, and inside is a mound of gold pieces and gems that are intermixed into the gold. He says, "This is your payment, as promised. Thank you very much," and sits back in his armchair. And I'll say that this chest is a little bit, just a teeny bit smaller than Tip as far as size. It's like, as far as height, I mean, but as far as size, it's like 2 feet long by about 10 inches deep by about, when it's opened, when it's closed, with the rounded lid on it, is about 10 inches tall. So it's like a nice little coin chest.
Bassel's gonna look to Telena. You should probably divvy this up.
Yeah. Does it have a latch, DM?
A little latch on the front, but it's open. He opened it when he set it down, so you can see inside of it.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that when I close it, I can make sure it doesn't spill out all over my
Yeah, when you close it and you latch it, there's a little key that's embedded in it, so it doesn't lock per se. You can't take the key out, but it's a little turn latch, so you can lock it in the sense of you'd have to you have to open it again.
Well, I did put it in the inventory, the party inventory. So I guess I'll just yoink it into my own. And I'll
did the party
figure out how much is in there.
Yeah. At quick glance,
I just grabbed it out.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let me just make sure. Hang on.
Oh, that's strange. It doesn't show the description in the chat when I put it there.
Oh, I can do it this way. Ha ha! Cool. I can do it this way. Oh wait, I forgot. I have to rebuild the party because the party still has Othwin in it. Hang on.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's easy. I just got to drag and drop. The question is, real quick for mechanics' sake, are you guys including Tip in this divvy out?
She hasn't divvied it out yet. She just pocketed it and is planning to divvy it out later.
Yeah,
okay.
That'll be a discussion at a later time.
In that case, for your notes, Tyrope, at quick glance, you guesstimate this is about 2,500 gold pieces. And
hot diggity.
And there is a collection of assorted gems, including diamonds, emeralds, rubies. It's just of all varying shapes and sizes. There's no real telling of how many are in here.
Right, you said 2,500 GP?
Yeah, 2,500 GP. Yep.
Okay, smoky.
And actually, there is a way to the party thing had an update, and so it's actually a really easy way I can award you guys.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually really cool. Okay, so yeah, so you take the small chest, you close it, and you can just turn the little front piece, and it closes, and you can hear it. You can hear it lock internally.
Lovely. Yeah, that just goes into the sack that she carries over her shoulder.
Okay, and I mean it weighs you down. It's heavy, but it goes in there pretty well. So, do tell, you were gone longer than I anticipated, and he, pointing to Merrick, looks worse for wear. What happened? I didn't expect it to take you that long, and you look pretty, well, roughed up.
Your shortcut was infested.
Raises an eyebrow. What do you mean?
Plenty of things blocking our path.
Such as?
Plenty of things keeping us roughed up. Goblins.
Goblins? In the catacombs? He genuinely seems surprised at that.
As well.
I'm
What
sort
else
of
was down there? It's
really
been a
lost,
minute.
And we dispatched some hoods on the way up.
Well, that one's less surprising. They've been scurrying into the catacombs for a couple of months now, using them for transporting illicit goods. However, I thought this part of it was empty. Goblins is surprising. Less surprising when I really think about it, as they like dark spaces, but I just haven't seen them down there.
Have you opened the puzzle really area? The circles?
He kind of tilts his head a bit, and this. Oh, you fiddled with the puzzle. Was the? He kind of looks at you, pauses for a second. Was the tunnel not open? There was a tunnel that went around it.
Sometimes information is great to get beforehand.
Remembering back, was there a tunnel that may have been collapsed?
Point of inspiration to Melon for remembering that. Yes.
I already have inspiration.
Well, you don't get any more. I run into the same problem with my players in my in-person game. I'm like, you get a point of inspiration. Like, I still have mine. I'm like, well, sorry. Yes, there was in fact there was in fact a caved-in tunnel on the north side of the temple that you guys had found.
So Bassel's going to relay that.
Okay.
Well, your tunnel you mentioned was probably caved in. We noticed one that was closed and collapsed.
He furrows his brow a bit. Interesting. That's odd.
Anyway, the puzzle area is open now, so there's that.
Well, that's good. I'm surprised that you were able to complete that. Not that I didn't think that you were not smart enough to do it. It's just I've never seen anyone complete it because I've never seen anyone try. Glad it
took
worked.
a few hours.
Well, those ancient puzzles usually are. I've run into a few myself back in my day, but all the same, congratulations. Was there anything else down there that I should be looking into, or just goblins and cave-ins?
It looked like the ruins of an old city, some booby traps. There was a flame trap that kept frying a few things over and over again.
Ah, yes, those are the remnants of old Duruun. Unfortunately, a few of those ancient magics still hold out. Wait, hold on. Wait, you said fire trap?
Yes. Statue.
He kind of does that thing where he
trap.
kind of looks up and around and says, huh, that one I'm not familiar with. I thought you mentioned something else.
What about giant statues that move and wield giant swords that try to smash you?
All right, now I'm just as confused as you are. Last I was down there, and he kind of glances over towards where Spitwick disappeared to, and the door's shut, and he goes, oh, that's right, he's sulking. The last time we were down there, it was quiet as a church mouse. I mean, save for the occasional rat, literally. There wasn't any issue. So the fact that something else is going on down there is surprising. Fire traps, animated statues. Interesting. And he's scratching his chin and kind of
Basil
bring his fingers
will
back
quickly look back to the group. Who had the initial papers we found down there?
Papers?
You mean the plans or the ones we came?
Yeah, not the ones we came for, the ones we found.
But you found something else.
Didn't Spitwick have those?
Yes, he did.
Spitwick hears his name and opens the door and comes back out. Someone say my name?
What did you do with all those plans we found in the Undercity?
Oh, that's right. Sorry. And he disappears for a second, and you hear some rustling. Comes back, and he's holding his leather satchel, and he sets it on top of the coffee table, kind of where he had set the chest, and flips the top open and takes everything out and just kind of lays it out on the table. And so all the stuff that he was carrying is now sitting on the coffee table.
Are you familiar with the Sylvan language?
I am, yes.
Read it.
He takes the plans and he unfurls them and looks them over and goes, oh. Starts kind of reading through sections of it and moving one over and moving the other over and kind of, I've never seen anything quite like this.
There were plenty of scrolls as well. Some that I had to decipher for Alexander.
He glances up at you and Alexander. Scrolls, you say? Like...
I don't believe he's never seen anything like that.
roll
He
me an
seems
insight check.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy who would know. Inspiration, that bitch.
What do you mean? He seems totally believable. He seems as honest as the day is long.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Inspiration, bitch.
Okay, so as he says that and he's looking them over, he actually genuinely seems honest. He seems like he's never seen this sort of thing before. It does, however, seem like maybe he's not telling the whole truth in that statement, but his surprise and his perplexity is genuine.
And Basil's going to carry on the description.
Mm-hmm.
That room had plenty of parts and pieces ready to assemble with whatever those things had on their pages.
And as you're saying this, he's listening and he's nodding, but he's also like flipping through the scroll, the like blueprints a couple of times, and he's kind of sliding them around and kind of reading a section here, looking at a note there, and such. And so he looks like he's studying these as he's listening to you. What what else was in this room, and where was this room at?
Past the third statue, I believe. It was well down away. It might have been two. It's been a moment. It was behind a room, a door that was booby-trapped with an electrical current, like shocking current.
Like lightning?
No.
I thought so. Oh. Really? Anyways.
Especially prestidigitation, some sparks that were similar to the one that came off the sword.
Anyways.
In front of her.
The room was secured, locked, and left abandoned, but the low hoods that attempted to approach the door when noises were made were quickly called off by whatever superiors they could deem themselves. Orders not to enter.
Wait, so hold on. And he kind of stops, sits back in his chair for a second, and kind of puts his elbows on the edge of the chair, and he does that thing where he closes his eyes, and he's like, wait a minute, So, at the end of one of the corridors, you found a door that led you into another door that led you into this room that was locked and presumably guarded of some kind, in which you found these blueprints, some scrolls, other things, and when a patrol of low hoods found it, you say they had orders not to enter, and they didn't come bother you when you were in there? Is that what you're telling me?
We stayed in the room.
Well, most of us did.
Most of us were in the room. Othwin made some noise. They started approaching from the outside, but did not go in. Telena left.
Yeah.
Tried to sneak past.
Damsel in distress story.
And that's when I used the door as a battering ram, and we dealt with them.
All you see is him blink a few times. Aha. All right. Okay. Did you find anything else in there besides these? Any ideas to who's behind this?
Not a clue, but the low hoods.
Sorry.
Okay. Not a clue, but the low hoods seem more organized, or at least their handlers are more organized than we think.
Well, that I highly doubt. Not that I'm doubting you, I just don't believe that's the case. The low hoods have never been formally organized.
Their handler, whatever they're being paid for.
Wait, what do you mean what do you mean? The low hoods don't operate like that. What do you mean?
Apparently,
the big creature called Nelroth?
Wait, Nelroth?
Yeah, that one.
No, I'm asking, is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Kind of leans back and kind of glances. You can see him doing that thing where he's like thinking, like you see him like almost like a Rolodex in his head, like scrolling through everything, trying to think of. I can't say if I've heard that name before, but the Low Hoods don't operate like that. The thugs, they do what they want. They only reports to the boss, the leader. That's it. There's nothing beyond that. They're thugs, they're brutes. They steal and they pillage.
The boss is apparently working for someone, utilizing their assets, their men, to perform these tasks without the men really being the wiser.
He leans back in his chair again. This time his face kind of twists and contorts. That's new.
I mean, you of all people should know that everybody has a price.
Oh no, you're absolutely correct. I don't deny that at all. It's just surprising in all the years I've been here and all the years the Low Hoods have been plaguing this city and been more or less a thorn in everyone's side and nothing usually more. It's surprising that all of a sudden they would be reporting to someone beyond their own hierarchy and doing so. Well, you're right. It's payment, but to put it in perspective, in order to my knowledge and my understanding of their operations, for them to be essentially a hired army to anyone, when I say deep pockets, that doesn't even begin to paint the picture of to how expensive that endeavor would be. Because Low Hoods operate on greed and self-preservation, which means if someone's paying them to do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do, it means the money has to be very good to pay all of those people to fall in line. So we're talking very, very deep pockets here.
Can I run a check somehow to see if Nilroth rings a bell culturally? Like what kind of creature it would be? Because to Thai, it seems a bit devilish.
Sure.
But I'm not quite sure what kind of check that would be.
If you want to roll me I guess history check would be the most appropriate for that. Okay.
No clue.
Yeah, so the name Nell, as you say it, and you guys are going back and forth and saying it more often, it doesn't ring a bell in any kind of capacity. It's not a name you've heard before. It doesn't ring true to anything. It doesn't even sound like a whisper or a rumor you may have heard. It is a new name to you. Its origin and the way that it sounds, it could be fiendish or demon, like you said. It could be elvish. It could be sylvan. It could be a couple of things. Like, you're not 100% certain its origin, but it definitely doesn't sound like, Joe Schmo around the corner. It's definitely something unique.
Good man, Game Master, I need
Yes.
to ask you a question.
Yes?
I'm going to send it to you direct.
Okay.
And because I don't know how to whisper, I'm doing it the same method I did before.
You can, but it's just it's /W space Game Master. But yeah, if you want to
Yeah,
Double-
okay.
yep,
Well,
/W
I'm just gonna
space
do.
Game Master.
I'm just gonna do Discord.
It's fine.
But
While you're doing that real quick, what is everybody else doing? Tip, you're kind of sitting here listening to all this, getting this all the information for the first time. Merrick, you're kind of lingering and listening as well. Grigor, same. Is Dak still asleep?
How much time would you have say has passed from the current conversation to when they left the manor?
It's been at least it's probably coming up on 4 or 5 hours now. From the amount of time you left the manor to get here. I'm sorry, what?
We walked that slow, or is it that far?
You crossed an entire city. Like,
Yeah, fair.
yeah, you literally went from the northwesternmost outskirts of the city, like literally the edge of the city, to the centralmost part of one of the major districts on the northeastern side of the city. So it was a bit of a hike. Not to mention all of Spitwick's backtracking and circling and stuff took a little extra time, so.
Fair.
Yeah, so I'd say at this point it's probably about I'd say probably more like 4 hours instead of 5, but yeah.
Yeah, she'll be awake, but she's still lying down underneath a blanket, and she's just kind of watching. She's not in the mood to say anything at the moment.
So she does wake up and she's just kind of listening, but she's not really doing much
Yeah.
else. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. What is Tip and Merrick and Grigor doing? What's up? Just want to get an idea of what's going on.
Lurking.
Okay, lurking, brooding, Batman, got it. What is Tim doing?
Tip's just mostly listening.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what they're even talking about at this point.
Sure. Yeah, kind of jumping in half cocked here. Gotcha. Is Grigor just kind of observing as well?
For the most part, yeah. He's also just idly browsing through the bookshelves.
Okay. All right. So as this is all taking place, and you guys are just kind of doing your thing, we go back over to the conversation. And Casivus is sitting there kind of trying to think of the names. I'm going to be honest, I'm not familiar with the name Nelroth. But I will absolutely be looking into this.
No,
Yes.
I just thought about it. Now that Dax is awake
Mhm.
and she's kind of listening, would that name ring a bell to her, especially with her being a what's the word I'm thinking of?
Tiefling?
Yeah, someone from like the Infernal.
Sure. I mean, you can roll me a history check if you like.
Do I have a history?
I mean, everybody has a history.
I know, but history.
Modifier.
If it's not,
Yeah.
If it's not trained, it's off intelligence.
All right, let's do history.
Sorry, trained is a Pathfinder term.
Eh.
If you're not proficient.
At 20.
Good grief! What are these rolls tonight? Okay, so with a nat 20. Hold on, you know what? You get a whisper.
Yeah, pretty much tightrope.
The dice only want to give the right character the attention.
Wow.
It's for the story.
The story.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so Casivus is like, but I will absolutely be looking into this and researching it because this is interesting. The fact that so something I learned while you are away that actually kind of now makes a little more sense, but also is just as equally confusing. I found out, and word got around, that when you all had the plans and were coming back from the docks, that you were set upon by a pair of bandits of some kind, and they absconded with the plans under cover of smoke. Is that correct? He kind of looks around at you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I discovered who did that, and it was a pair of bandits known as, mercenaries really, known as the Twins. It's a sibling pair of male and female, very experienced individuals that are hired out on an as-needed basis for any number of tasks ranging from thievery to blackmail, extortion, sabotage, espionage, assassinations. They will almost do anything for the right price. But, as we were just discussing, the price is extremely high. They don't work for just anyone. They pick and choose their clientele, but they also charge an obscene amount of money. I've tried to hire them once, and even I couldn't afford them. So, again, go ahead.
You've mentioned these before. Zephyr and Vexia.
That's right. I did. That's right. We did have this conversation. Yes, Zephyr and Vexia are the twins. But yeah, well done on the note taking. I actually forgot that I had told you guys this. Yes, that is them. And they are extremely expensive. Something else that I've discovered is, since you're being gone, they don't work. They've never reportedly been spotted working with or for the Low Hoods. In fact, I found out there's actually some animosity there, as something happened some time ago between the twins and the Low Hoods, in which they are borderline enemies. So the fact that they were working in tandem with them, and as you said earlier, handing the plans over to what I presume was Captain Harkett, correct? I ended up finding out that too as well. I believe that's who you were mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The fact that they were working together makes no sense. I've never heard of that happening. In fact, more likely, had you asked me a couple of days ago, I would have said they would have been at odds and trying to kill each other.
Could it be they were promised, I don't know, control or power as well?
Who, the twins?
All parties.
Well, the Low Hoods, I would believe it. Harkett's a power-hungry maniac, which is wonderful to find that he lives in the same city as me. But the twins, that's not their bag. They don't crave power. They crave anonymity. They crave the shadows. They crave working in the darkness for obscenely high prices and amassing a fortune for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't personally know them. But they're not one to seek money and, to seek power and control. They more wish to be the best at what they do, which, quite frankly, they have become. So, I mean, I don't know them personally, so I could be totally wrong, but from the information I have gathered, both from yourselves and my own research, I don't believe that makes sense for them. But, quite frankly, it wouldn't really matter as long as someone's willing to pay their obscene price.
Merrick kind of steps closer and asks, would you happen to know if someone out there with a reason to undermine the political stance and security of the city of Duruun itself?
He leans back and kind of scratches his chin a bit. Well, I'm going to be honest. No one comes to mind immediately. However, Duruun has been... How do I put this? Duruun has been a powder keg for some time now. There has been many individuals in varying ranges of authority and power who have been trying to get a foothold in this city. Both those who are already here, those who are on the outside. Duruun is a very interesting dichotomy of poverty and wealth and influence and lack thereof. It has always been an interesting dynamic, especially when you look at the clash between North Duruun and the proper city of Duruun. It's a mess. So the answer to your question is not so simple in that it's kind of an infinite possibility. The way the city is organized is that you have a city council, and the city council is made up of representatives from around the city that have voted on a popular vote. The problem is that North Duruun only has one representative. The rest of the seats are controlled by the rest of the city. So North Duruun gets almost no representation and therefore is seen as second-class citizens, is seen as a nuisance, is seen as nothing more than, well, quite frankly, indentured servitude to the city to the south. So, in answer to your question, there's quite a lot of people that might wish to see the current balance of power and authority and structure of the city completely turned on its head. But, quite frankly, it could also be a matter of other things. There could be people who wish to see the city just burn, you never know. But no one comes to mind immediately. But if you were going to be looking in that direction, the first place I'd look would be, the city council itself.
Funny you mentioned all the burning and the powder keg. I don't know if I mentioned the powdery substance that also is very prone to spark.
What, gunpowder?
If that's what it's called, I'm not familiar with whatever it was.
Oh, I mean, if that's what you're referring to, yes. Some of the ships who've been venturing up the river from the ocean We've started to see them more and more commonly have cannonade on the decks and on the ship, and apparently they use something called gunpowder, which is, as you say, some sort of powder that sparks easily. So,
Well,
odd that it would be down there.
it was next to a bunch of, I would say, alchemical supply in the same room.
Forge.
And
There was a forge, which I can assume was to craft together whatever pieces of equipment, because some of those plans, they already had pieces crafted.
What's these plans? And he kind of leans forward and kind of slides the blueprints around a little bit and kind of taps on them and looks at you.
And Basil's going to lean over and kind of point at the barrel, the trigger, which he doesn't know is a trigger.
Sure, I got
and a lot of the inner working mechanics.
Yeah.
All of these, they're in crates down in that room.
Kind of slides a few things around and kind of goes, interesting. If I didn't know better based on that and all of this, I'd say this was some sort of handheld weapon using that. That being the gunpowder. But it doesn't explain what the projectile would be. I mean, obviously a cannonball would be way too large. But these blueprints don't include anything regarding a projectile. It only includes the construction of mostly the construction of something itself.
Player question.
Yes.
Didn't Othwin dump over a crate full of pellets?
No. Othwin was digging through a crate full of like gears and inner workings of the inside mechanics.
Was there not a crate of pellets that we found as well?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, you guys found a crate of the barrels, as you said. You found a bunch of the hollow tubes. You guys found the crate of inner workings and gears and such. You did find the gunpowder. You did find several jars of the powder, but there was no jars or boxes containing any sort of projectiles.
Okay. Just had to make sure.
Okay.
I have a question.
We did find spell scrolls.
Hold on. In my Tippy's ventures of teleportation, would she have stumbled upon these devices?
We didn't talk about that too much, so let's do it this way. I want you to roll me a history check. To start with. Sorry, I'm eating a cookie.
Where is my... There it is.
How dare you? No,
I know, right? Okay. Now
Oh, you know nothing.
Now I want you to roll me a hang on. There needs to be a science check. We need a science check in here.
I mean, that would just be straight intelligence.
Yeah, I think it would be. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
Unless you're like proficient in tinkering tools, in which case you could do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Intelligence of that. But yeah.
Okay. So, as you're looking at this, as you're listening to this conversation and looking at what you can see, and trying to like piece this conversation together, having almost zero context, the concept of a cannonade and gunpowder does not ring a bell to you. But the conversation that they're having around some sort of weapon that can fling a projectile and what you're able to glean just by glancing at these blueprints makes some semblance of sense to you, that they're talking about some sort of ranged weapon that can throw something through the use of some sort of explosion. But that's the extent of what you're able to get.
So I do have a lore question.
Okay.
Above table.
Okay.
It's gonna be really weird for no one that's watched Critical Role because we're in that world, right?
Technically, yes.
Andrea.
Yeah.
Where exactly in time are we?
Okay, so in the timeline, this would be the equivalent of after or right around after the CR1 timeline. However, we are on a separate continent that is so far away from the other continent, so the technology and research that would have existed in other and to put it in your perspective, CR timelines is not equivalent to here. Think of it in when in the same time America was discovering electricity, places in Africa obviously didn't have that. That kind of thing, where it's just because it's the same timeline, the same amount of things don't translate to here one-to-one.
Okay. Because
as far as Exandria and Marquette and Wildmount and everything are concerned, those continents don't recognize this one exists yet because they're so far away from each other. Only a handful of like merchant sailors and pirates and things like that have just, hey, we're just going to keep sailing and see what we find, have made it out here, and not many of them go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I knew somebody was going to ask me that at some point because I'm talking about firearms in a CR-based world, and yeah. Yeah, so and Monhold, in answer to that question about Tinker's tools, yeah, same thing. Like you can like apply theoretical knowledge to this, like how these kind of things go together. So you're kind of getting the same thing where you're understanding kind of like what you're seeing and like how it might all go together, but like practical example of how this might like be executed, you can't quite envision because you've never physically seen it. You're just kind of understanding the mechanics of how it all might go together. And for clarity's sake, basically at this point, what everybody is in their own way starting to either grasp or whatever is you're basically envisioning, actually, I can just show you this. Hold on.
I was gonna say, isn't it just like Black Powder Springfield?
Nope.
Oh.
They look way
Think it's
cooler
closer
than,
to like a musket.
they look way cooler than all of that. Hold on. Here it is.
Throws up a picture of an NPX.
That is what it looks like.
Ooh.
All said and done, all the blueprints together based on what is being described looks like that.
Now that we're in proper lighting and a good environment
Correct.
that's not rushed, we're like
Yep.
piecing them all together on top of each other with like backlighting, and we're
Mhm.
able to start seeing this.
Yep. And that is essentially what you're seeing. Is you're seeing
Advanced musket.
yeah, it's essentially like a fantasy musket is the best way to explain it. I don't know if that popped up on stream. I think it did, but I don't know. It should have, but I don't know if it did.
No.
I see it.
I don't think
You did? Okay, cool. Okay.
on stream.
Not on stream.
Oh.
I didn't
No,
check
I
on
don't think
stream.
it popped up
No,
on
it didn't check up on stream.
Oh, that's weird. Weird. Yeah, let me
And
Maybe it doesn't pop up because you can't close them.
let me see here. Because it may have just do this if I do show players. No, it did show. It just went away. Okay, we're good. Yep, I just confirmed. Cool. So yeah, so
okay.
that is, sorry, it's gonna pop up again, but that's essentially what you're seeing. When all's said and done and how it's being all put together.
Okay. Anyways, as Basil is talking with Casivus about this, he's making the remarks and showing a lot more interest in the general topic
Mhm.
and what dangers it may represent.
Mhm.
And is basically just chit-chatting away with Casivus over it, regardless of what everybody else is doing in the room.
Sure. Okay.
So I feel like their conversation just kind of teeters and lingers and goes into a separate direction.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or things for this situation?
No, I'm gonna. Telena's gonna, as they're talking about the chemical,
I sent you my message.
basically chit
Oh,
chat
Yeah, I
that
see ya.
is going over her head. She's gonna start valuing the coinage in the chest, like just on the table.
Okay.
So she can get a more accurate count, and is getting a count of the types of gems.
Okay.
But she isn't one to appraise. She just wants to know how many of each she has, so that at some point during the next week, the dear DM can just update the item I have in my inventory to include the accurate countage and stuff. Or if you have it written down, you can maybe boss that in there.
There you go. Okay.
And the 2,500 was an accurate number for the.
Yes, 2,500 gold pieces is the amount of
Okay.
gold that's in there. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, so as this conversation's kind of going back and forth and everybody's kind of thinking and interjecting and whatnot, Casivus looks over everything again and says, "Are you certain there was nothing else that you found down there? Was there anything else that you're leaving out? Nothing is inconsequential. At this point,
I'm
more
poking
information is
this
better than
as-
nothing."
I'm poking this as a player that forgot
Mhm.
because it's been so long. I don't remember anything.
Okay.
I don't know if Basil remembers anything,
Sure.
but I don't remember anything.
I will wait to give DM nudges until everybody else has kind of like exhausted what they think they remember, because everybody has different memories. So
we had we mentioned the fire trap, right? Did we
yes, traps
mention-
were mentioned. Yep.
Did
Statues
fire
and stuff
trap
too.
caught a guy,
Say again. I'm sorry.
and that we mention that the fire trap caught a guy while we were resting,
Yeah. Yes.
and that they have been given a send off of sorts.
I mean, you mentioned that it burned a few people.
There was some watery place. But you know the layout of the catacombs, so you probably are aware of the.
Oh yeah, there was that corridor that the floor gave away. but
yes.
There was...
I know what you're talking about, of course. Yeah,
Water.
that's part of the ancient city of Duruun that flooded many, many, many years ago. One of the underground rivers burst and it flooded a good portion of the city.
If I remember correctly, that was not far away from that workshopping place.
Oh, that far in. All right, that's
So-
good. That gives me a point of reference.
Give or take, like I think.
I
it is
believe it
slightly
was...
further west.
I
East?
don't know what directions were happening down there. I just know as we entered, it was quite a few paces down corridor. Going away from there, you take left into a different doorway corridor.
All right. Yeah, I will. After we're finished here, I might sneak down there with Spitwick and have him show me what you all found.
And to that, I want to know what Spitwick's reaction was.
Spitwick rolls his eyes and goes, "Oh, not again."
And I mean, there was the mansion. Keyword was. If you hear about a big fire,
It wasn't
Wasn't-
us.
Wait, I'm
But if
sorry. I
anybody-
was answering a player's question. Say that again.
We mentioned
if you hear
the
about a big
mansion.
fire, it wasn't us. But if anybody asks how much trouble we can be, feel free to mention a big fire.
Oh dear. All right.
Yeah,
That
mansion
manor-
was.
That manor may not be standing much longer.
Aha. Oh well. Well,
Protecting your catacombs, of course. Got to make sure the entrance is secure.
yes, thank you for that. Actually, hopefully between your efforts and whatever you're mentioning with the fire, we'll have cleared it out in such a way I can resume operations down there. All right, so we have goblins, we have statues, we have fire traps, we have some sort of strange workshop.
Pause from me. Was there any undead things? I can't remember.
You guys did
Not
fight.
anymore.
Yes, you guys did fight. Like basically like a tomb of some kind that you guys woke up and a bunch of undead things attacked you.
I can't put that into character words right now, but Basil wants to mention that.
Okay. He's going through the list and goes, well, that one I knew about. Sorry, I didn't think that you'd have to go that way. I apologize. That was probably left over from the old city of Duruun as well.
They're resting in pieces now. It's okay.
For now, anyways. We'll see what happens. And he kind of smirks and rolls his eyes a bit. All right, very well. So we had...
Oh,
yes.
there was a bloodbath of sorts just before Spitwick got temporarily taken out of our custody.
City guards, yeah.
City guards. Down there. And he actually looks genuinely, like, surprised at that.
And
Well,
that...
not alive, anyway.
No, they were all expired by this point, but there was explosive residue,
Explosive residue.
like
Alright.
explosive marks.
Yes.
Big
like scorch
fireball,
marks.
but different.
Alright,
Yeah,
okay,
it was
alright.
not big enough.
Oh, and they had,
Alright.
and Talina starts digging in her pouch.
Talena, the face of the party. Basil, the stoic, uncharismatic other face of him.
Yeah. On one of those guards, I found a piece of parchment that was kind of charred. It mentioned the name Lord Nifli. It's like Lord Niflia.
Lord of
I
Vantrian
don't know how you-
Nifiliae.
That one, yeah.
And he kind of blinks a couple times. Says, what did you find his name on?
Investigate rumors, and then kind of scourges and deadly attacks, connection to criminal activity, find proof. Yeah,
Oh.
some sort of
May I
investigative
see
order, I
that?
guess?
And he kind of holds his hand out to see the scrap of paper
She
you're
just
reading.
turns the thing around so he can read it.
He smirks a bit and he kind of takes it in his hands. He doesn't take it from you, but he kind of holds it in his hands and he kind of squints as he reads it. Oh. So it's signed by him, is what it appears like. It's charred pretty well. Where did you find this? This looks like it's been set ablaze.
Yeah, remember those fireballs, but not quite, we mentioned? Yeah, on one of them.
Oh.
I don't think he needs it anymore.
No, clearly not. Well, if I'm reading this correctly, it appears as if this individual was. This is some sort of official charge for this group of individuals to head down there to try to investigate rumors, deadly attacks, some sort of connection to criminal activity, find proof. But it looks like they were dispatched by the city council. Lord of Vantrian Affiliate is one of the city council members I mentioned.
Keeps us
So-
in with the council.
So it looks like he's
Potentially.
possibly investigating. So maybe that's a good start. I wasn't aware he had
Well-
been investigating anything down there.
Could he be investigating your criminal activity? I mean,
As you
the
say that, his
related
eyes get kind of
criminal
big.
activity?
I wasn't until you said that, and now I'm concerned. Thankfully, my criminal activity is not violent, and is usually not something that gets on the city council's radar.
Right. But if they're suspecting it connected, even
Or-
if it isn't, that
Or at the
could
very
be
least, if
bad.
they're investigating something else and my endeavors get scooped up. Good point. I'm going to work on some things. Thank you. And he takes out a little like notepad from his jacket and scribbles down real quick a couple of notes and tucks it back in as he like, oh, shoot. You kind of see him having that moment of realization.
I love how neutral the dice want to be
Oh, are they?
for my idea.
Nice.
Ugh.
Well,
I'm not gonna go for it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's an interesting. That kind of goes to what I was saying before, and that perhaps the city council is already looking into some things down there. Maybe they have wind of things I haven't heard of yet. Which he stops for a moment. It's like, admittedly, a little bit to my ego of disappointing. Usually, I pride myself on having information, but clearly, I'm in the dark here in many more ways than one.
He grins and goes, "Well, isn't that where we enjoy your work? I mean, I prefer the limelight, but your type."
Very true, but in order for me to stay in the shadows, having information can quite literally be life and death. So, while I am eternally grateful for the information you're providing, I'm a little disappointed in myself for not having most of this already. But Nephilia is an interesting one. Out of all the city council members, he's not the one I would have initially expected to be dispatching city guards to go investigating the catacombs.
How many lords and ladies are on the council?
Please hold while DM feverishly tries to find notes.
In the meantime, Basil's going to has Dax made it known that she's awake? Just a question.
No, she's just kind of laying there listening to
Oh,
what
her
everyone's
eyes open.
talking about. Yeah, no, her eyes are indeed open.
Okay, I'm just like, as someone glances over to see that she's asleep and she's just staring back at him with her orange eyes.
Basil was going to check on Dax just really quick while the conversation was going.
Like a 10-year-old pretending to sleep before coming back to play the phone games.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Actually, Basil's going to make sure Scorch is sitting right next to Dax on the floor.
Scorch sat down next to the far side of like the arm of the chair, like next to where Dax was sleeping. and just has been laying down quietly.
Good pupper.
In answer to Talina's question, Casivus, there are 7 seats on the council. Do you wish to know who they are, or do you just want the number of seats? Because I'm good either way.
I mean, information is always useful.
Of course. So there's Lady Jael Claywood, Sir Ungrin Vance, Mistress Clorinda DeLuca, Dr. Tobias Arkwright, Dean Azair.
DM, please go slower. I don't.
Hang on. I'll get you here in a second. I got you.
Okay, fair. Yes.
Dean Azair Savion, Lord Balan Blewit, and then Lord of Antrin Affiliate. So, okay, so seat 1, Lady JL JAY apostrophe ELL Claywood, exactly how it sounds. And if anybody's taking notes on this, needs me to pause, let me know. Sir.
Sorry, that first name again?
Lady JL JAY apostrophe ELL.
Okay.
Yep. Sir Ungrin Vance. So UNGREN VANCE.
Mm-hmm.
Third name was Mistress Clorinda DeLuca. So Clorinda is CLORINDA. Lowercase d apostrophe Luca LUCA with a capital L. Dr. Tobias Arkwright. So Tobias common spelling, and then Arkwright is ARKWRIGHT.
Oh, I thought that was with a C. Interesting.
Yeah. And then the next one is Dean. So like the dean of a school. So DEAN. Azair AZZAIR. Savion is SAVILLION. And then seat 6 is Lord Balan, BALAN. Blewit, BLEWITT.
1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, then I have all of them now.
Yep, so you should have 7 seats.
Just gotta double check the spelling there.
Let's see. That looks correct.
There you go. For the rest of the party, they'll copy if they want to.
Yep. Yeah, if you guys are taking notes.
And which of these is representing North Duruun?
Hang on a second. I gotta check notes again.
He asked because previously.
No, you're correct. I thought I had that.
No, you're
fine.
future.
I had it written like on my sheet, like I had written out all of it, but I just realized that this note doesn't have. That's weird. Wait. That's why I was looking at the wrong sheet. Okay, Dr. Tobias Arkwright is the he is the representative for North Duruun. So yeah, so he lists off all the names and then he tells you yes, and Dr. Tobias Arkwright, he is the representative for North Duruun. The rest of them all represent the various districts around Duruun proper. And as I mentioned before, in response to your question regarding if any points to Merrick, someone who wishes to possibly see the city in an upheaval, I must point out that Dr. Arkwright is, and he kind of shrugs a bit, to put it bluntly, a lot of people see him as a traitor to the city of Duruun because he's representing North Duruun. Apparently, from what I understand, he was born and raised in Duruun, and then his family moved there when he was, I believe, his teen years, and so he's grown up there, and so he feels he has some sort of connection to the two sides of the city, and therefore wanted to try to bridge that gap by taking this seat on the council.
Ah, yes, bringing things together. Such a traitorous move.
Yeah,
He says in
I
like
agree.
most disgusting tone.
Yes, and he kind of sighs as I understand. Right. It's a mess. And as I said, Duruun, on the outside, to anyone who's traveling in or visiting or what have you, sees it as a bustling and thriving trade port full of opportunity and commerce and art and culture, and we have the university and whatnot. But when you get inside and you open your eyes to what's actually going on, it's a mess and has been for decades.
Ah, yes, the Duruun dream. We've all heard of it.
We love political tension.
Yeah, right. Was that Dax that said that, or was that Shadow?
That was Shadow.
Okay, just checking.
I'm tempted to put a GIF into the channel real quick.
Do it. I should be the only one to
Uh,
meme lord.
hang on, I'm gonna meme lord this one. You continue.
You're
but
good.
I have to.
I'm gonna DM nudge real quick for you guys because there was something that I think was either forgotten or was not listed in a note that I know that happened. On several of the crates that were found in the workshop, there was a symbol that was embedded in the wood. There was an emblem that was embossed into the wood.
I legitimately don't remember this.
Melon, that's great. Hold on a second, because I believe I even have it as a. Yes. So here,
I don't think that was something Talina looked at.
everybody looked at it because it was a thing that I ended up because I have it in here as.
I don't think I was here for that.
You may have missed that session actually.
Yeah.
This is the symbol.
What?
Huh?
Yep.
Oh, okay, there we go. I just saw chest clue.
Yeah, it had to load the picture. Yeah. So that was the image, the emblem that was on one of the chests that you guys found.
Yeah, that legitimately does not ring a bell.
Sorry.
Oh.
So, whether you can do with that information what you will, but just to nudge that did. It was a long time. That was that was like early on in the campaign. So.
Oh, was
I
that
can
on
say
the
Merrick
chest
wasn't
we
paying
got
attention to the
initial loot
crates.
from?
So hold on, two people were talking at once. Jesse, say that again.
So Merrick wasn't paying attention to the crates. He doesn't know.
Okay, and then Tyrup, what'd you say?
Was that on the crates where we got the initial loot from? The little room on the right-hand side of the map near the top.
No. There was no symbol on that chest. That chest was just old and dusty and had kind of like a glow to it.
Okay, so it was on the more recent
Yes.
low hood ones.
It was on one of the chests that was technically it was on a couple you saw it on a couple of chests, but the one specifically was when it was in the workshop.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Basil would have paid too close attention to that, to be honest with you.
Okay. That's fine. If you didn't, you didn't. I'm just making sure that you guys saw it is all.
Yeah. Well, Talina was too busy pranking Big Sword and a damage control wizard.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he'll find the sigils when he goes down there. It's fine.
Okay. So as the kind of conversation kind of peters itself out, is there anything else, or because at this point I have some things I need to look into, and I have some questions of my own I need to go get some answers to.
Any questions we might be able to answer, or help find the answer to?
Well, quite frankly, if you can look into this Avantarin Affiliate situation and figure out where he got his information and what he's investigating, because as you pointed out, if he's investigating me, I need to know.
And you shouldn't be the one asking.
Yeah, definitely not. Any way that you can find out if he's after me or anything I'm related to, I'd be eternally grateful, because that could just jeopardize many things for me. And quite frankly, I'm not in a position to be asking those questions, as you just pointed out.
Fair enough.
Additionally, go ahead.
Oh, Bass was going to mention. Well, I'm going to return to work at the docks. If I find anything, any eavesdropping, word of mouth, how can I contact you?
Well, if you're going to be working at the docks once more, first off, what I would recommend is going back to the docks with which you found these plans. He probably has some work for you. Just let him know, and he'll pass it along to me. That'd be my suggestion. However, if you're looking for some other work, I could set you up with one of the crews I have down at the docks, and you could work on one of their ships and just let the captain know, and they could get it back to me. It's up to you.
I was dock worker loading, unloading of cargo. I can keep working along those lines and report back anything that I find of use. So long as you have a meetup.
All right. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I have eyes and ears all along the docks, so
Doesn't hurt to have one more pair.
of course. That's what I meant. Is word can get back to me pretty easily.
How are your contacts in Amber Point?
I'm sorry, and where?
Amber Point?
Oh, Amber Point. Admittedly, Amber Point's one I don't have a lot of contacts in because that's where all the rich and wealthy are. I have a few friends I mingle with. I wouldn't call them eyes and ears per se, but I can get information out of there if I grease the right palms. Why do you ask?
I might be one of those palms.
Ah. All right. You and I can have a conversation.
Dear DM, please read your DM.
Sorry, I'm multitasking here.
I'm
But-
going to just loosely note this, but has the final tally been marked for
For the
divvying? Yeah, divvying reward.
reward? It has been. I need to get the gems valuated before I can actually solidly
Uh,
divvy these out.
Gems are of no concern.
But they are of worth.
Yes, but Basil's really just looking for whatever his payday is in coin, which is tangible and ready to use.
Yep. That leaves the question through how many do we cut this? Am I keeping Athwin's cut for now? Until they return?
Maybe best to hold that back. Yes. I don't know if we slipped in character for that.
Yes.
Okay. But yes, Basil would reply. I think
At
that's
this point-
best.
At this point, Dax would actually sit up and she would mumble, "I agree."
Oh, welcome back. He smiles a little bit.
Basil looks at Dax and gives a kind of a soft smile, just a good, you're awake kind of
She,
expression.
she has no emotion on her face right now. Her face is just, she has no emotion and it's just covered in dirt and blood and all that other stuff.
In that case, she hands 400 coins to 400 gold worth of coins in various denominations to each of her party members, not
Okay.
including the squirrel.
Hold on one second. So Merrick, Dax, Talina.
Nope,
Well, actually,
not to me.
yeah, sorry, Basil, Grigor. Okay, so and I understand this correctly. We're not giving money to tip, right?
Correct.
As of now, no.
Okay, so 400
And
gold.
I've updated the catacomb rewards to have that 5k, the 2k removed.
Where are you seeing this, by the way?
In my inventory at the very bottom, I have a loot thingy catacombs reward.
Okay,
I
cool.
made
Gotcha.
that just has the things in it.
Yep. Okay.
I've removed 2,000 and
Right.
because that's means I have a
So,
little more. But
I
I'm
just
keeping
gave
that as
400
exchange money.
Sweet. I just gave 400 to Merrick, Dax, Grigor, and Basil.
I didn't get anything.
Did it not work?
I don't believe it transferred to Basil's sheet.
Did this not?
Yeah, it didn't transfer to Dax's sheet either.
I don't know how much money I had beforehand, so I have no measure, but I do currently have 440 gold.
I know that we had 400 some gold from the initial divvying of other loots.
That's weird that didn't work. Maybe that plugin doesn't work the way that it's supposed to, which wouldn't really, quite frankly, surprise me. Okay, well, in that case, everybody can add 400 to their sheet. And then, Talina, you can add the remainder to yours for yours and Othwin's share. Cool. Okay. All right. So, yeah, going back to the thing. Yes, so if you can look into the Nephilier situation, as well as keep an eye out and an ear out for any information regarding this connection between the Low Hoods and other entities other than themselves. They're not known for making alliances, let alone working for someone else. That doesn't make sense. So anything you can gather, I'll obviously look into it as well, but, more the merrier. In answer to your question about Amber Point, you said you could be a palm I could grease. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. I do frequent the wizard and wand.
Oh.
I hear things while performing.
Very well. Well, I'll tell you what, any information you come across, I'll gladly pay for it. Presuming, of course, it's valuable.
Of course.
Of course. All right. Well, I'll be in touch. I'll let you know what I find out on my end of things. But, yes, something's going on. It's definitely certain that things are happening. I'm also going to send down some of my scouts, including young Spitwick there, back into the catacombs to see what we can come across that's maybe helpful to clarify some things. But stick around, and I'll reach out as soon as I hear something. And if you do, obviously, reach out.
Yeah, we'll need to find a better way to contact you, because I get lost around these parts.
If you ever need to contact me, look around the docks, and I'm sure you'll find Spitwick will be around there and easy to spot.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, for you, Mr. Basil, you say you're headed back to work.
I work upon the east docks most times, but I'll shimmy between every station.
Very well. Well, it was a pleasure working with you, my good man. And should you ever need different work or desire something more exciting, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm sure I have something I can arrange for you.
As well, if you need my particular skill set, you know how to find me.
He extends his hand for a handshake.
And Basil gives it.
Gives a firm handshake back. Says, "Of course, my good man. It was a pleasure." And then he looks down at the squirrel at Tippy. And you, I'm most intrigued. I would love to have a conversation with you. I've never seen one of your kind before.
Squirrel.
Oh.
Do you respond back to him?
Yeah, all she says is, "Oh."
And I assume you say it telepathically.
It's the only way I can.
I'm just confirming. He kind of jumps up and says, "Oh, what a marvelous trick! I like you." It's at this point that as he's kind of like standing up to kind of like dismiss himself, Spitwick comes over and whispers something in his ear, and he frowns. He looks up at Talina. Excuse me, Miss Talina, may I have a word?
More than one.
Clever. And he steps to the side to kind of just give a little bit of distance between him and the rest of the group.
She walks towards the doorway with the big desk on the other end.
And he follows. And at this point, you're a pretty good, like you're a small distance away from the rest of the group. And he leans in and says, Spitwick tells me that he spotted someone and asked you to keep an eye out. Did young woman in a red dress, did you happen to spot this individual?
I believe your words were that all information has its price.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
Right out the gate.
God.
Hold on. Persuasion or perception.
Gosh dang. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. He smirks. And he just reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a small little coin purse and drops it in your hand, and it has another 50 gold in it.
Glad to see you're a man of your word. As she hands it back, says, "Yeah, I saw something red dash away. Didn't seem to be in a hurry though."
Which direction did this red dash? 26 persuasion. Holy balls.
Scrolls up. Scrolls
Neon,
up.
I will
Yes.
give you a little bit of detail on something that I want to just let you know.
Okay.
Momentarily.
Mhm.
It's just to help with the situation.
We were walking through the docks, and she seemed to be headed in the general direction of the residential district.
All right, so away from here. All right, okay. Well,
Cool.
do me a favor. Please keep an eye out for this individual. If you see them, please let me know. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out what appears to be something round in his hand, and he takes one of your hands with his left hand, and with his right hand places something in the palm of your other hand, not the one with the coin pouch in it. And says, "Please."
Well, I gave the coin pouch back.
You give the coin pouch back?
Yeah, I gave that back.
Oh, and he.
I was just checking if he was a man
Oh,
of
I
his
missed
word.
that. Okay, and he smirks and sticks in his pocket. So then, in your hand, he cups something into your hand and says, "Please let me know the moment you see this individual. While they aren't an immediate threat, I want to keep a tab on their whereabouts." And as he takes his hand back, you notice there's a sending stone in your hand. Only one.
Nice. Oh. Nice.
Presumably, he has the other one.
Yeah, I assumed as such. Did we have that on the SRD?
It should be, yeah. You should have it should be a thing. You can find it in there.
Items. Sending. Nope.
If you check like
That's
D&D
cool.
Beyond items, it should be in there. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah,
right,
sending
D&D
stones,
Beyond,
yeah.
not D&D SRB.
Yeah, SRD only has a handful of items. You always use the D&D Beyond one because I've imported like a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So as he hands that to you, and he kind of looks at you and nods and says, "I appreciate it." But yes, Spitwick will see you out. And he's saying this to the group now. Spitwick will see you out. Basil, it was a pleasure. Hopefully we run into each other soon. The rest of you, get some rest, get some food down at the Lucky Tankard, possibly. And I will be in touch. And he kind of looks at you and kind of cups his hands together and nods. And says, "Have a good evening." Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I haven't slept. Have a good day. And he turns around and walks back into his study. And Spitwick stretches a bit and says,
All right, let's go. I want to get some sleep. I'm tired. I feel like crap.
and he walks you guys to the main door.
Selena will
Bass-
follow and walk out.
Yeah. Basil's right behind. I'm assuming that everybody else is following.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And then I assume Dax is up and at him and Scorch is following.
One moment.
You're good.
Yeah, she's gonna be getting up and following, making sure that Scorch is following her.
Okay, cool. All right, so everybody gets up and makes their way out, and as per the last time, Spitwick walks you to the end of the corridor and walks you into the alley, and then as he walks you guys out there, says, "There was a pleasure," and then looks at Dax and says, "You're still freaking me out. Stay away from me." And then looks at all the rest of you and says, "I'm going to bed. See you later." And as he turns around, and as he turns, the same thing happens. Where as he turns, it's like the wall, like you blink and the wall just kind of has this almost holographic shimmer into being a wall again. And now you're standing in a dead-end alley.
Basil's going to turn to the group. I agree with his sentiment, and my room is calling me. You'll see me around. I'll be at the docks. You need anything, find me at the Tankard. Find me at the east side. Docks.
Tankard seems like a nice place to catch up if we ever need each other. I'm there half the week at least.
Dax, all she does is really nod in agreement.
Oh, Basil turns to Dax, by the way. Looks at her directly. And keep that dagger on you.
She mutters out a thank you.
With that, Basil's going to wave everybody goodbye and move on to his home. in the east side of Riverside.
Okay. With the rest of you guys standing there, do you guys all move as a group back towards the tankard? Do you guys split up for a bit? What do you guys do?
Tolina will go to the tanker just to get what's her word? What's the name I'm looking for? Sourbeard the heads up that today is her day off and she'll be working at the other place for a couple days and she'll be back on
Okay.
the next scheduled day.
All right. I would say then, unless you guys are contesting this, I'd say as a group, you guys moved over to the tankard, and we will pick up at the tankard with you talking to Duruun Stoutbeard next time, if that works for you guys.
Dax doesn't immediately go with the group.
Okay.
Instead, she makes her way to find some place to sleep.
Okay. Would you be looking for like a hotel motel situation? Or are you looking for just literally a back alley somewhere? Like, what is she looking for?
If I remember right, I'm pretty sure Basil had shown her his home.
Yes. At the Crooked Crane.
He has. Yes. However, she's not going there. She is she's looking for is she I'm trying to find the best way to put it. She's looking at this rate for anywhere to sleep. If she comes across a place in the alleyway first, then she's gonna pick that. If she comes across a motel first, then she's gonna pick that.
Okay. Well, let's put it this way. In the district that you're in, there are other little like nook and cranny taverns that you could absolutely pay a couple of coin and get a night for the a room for the night. There would also be plenty of just alleyways. It really would depend on how much wandering she'd do before she'd want to rest.
Gotta make sure they're pet friendly.
Yeah, it's also true.
Yeah. She doesn't want to wander super far. She's gonna stay in like the general vicinity of the Lucky Tankard East Dock.
Okay.
And like where they are currently, she's
Okay.
gonna kind of stay in that block area because she doesn't know anywhere else.
Sure. Okay, so I say this. As you guys are headed towards the tankard, you find Daxori finds herself kind of not purposefully, but just kind of lingering away from the group in subtle strides until you find yourself near one of the smaller ships that's docked in one of the docks there on the docks. The dock does a lot of word docks in one sentence. It's a ship that appears that it's been moored for a long time. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. And by all appearances, it is more or less a permanent fixture here. And you can notice that there's plenty of space for you to curl up, like either below deck or under one of the tarps that goes over a portion of it. You could easily curl up there and get some rest, and looks like no one would bother you.
She would go below deck, making sure that Scorch is following her.
Mm-hmm.
When she gets to a spot below deck, she's gonna sit down. First thing she's gonna do is make sure that she's gonna feed Scorch, and she's also gonna make sure he has water before giving him a bone, and then she's just gonna curl up next to Scorch and just kind of fall asleep.
Perfect. Okay. So you and as the rest of you guys get to the tankard, you notice that you knew Basil had left, but you noticed that Dax doesn't seem to be around. She didn't say anything, so she may have wandered off somewhere, but she doesn't seem to be immediately with you guys at the tankard. And you said you let we'll go ahead and do it this way. You said you were going to let Duruun Stoutbeard know that this is your day off.
Yes.
Okay. What do you tell him? Just
This is her scheduled day off.
Okay.
And she'll be back at the next scheduled day, which will be next week.
Next scheduled day is next week. All right. I'm not good with the dates, but all right. Sounds good. We'll see you when you get back. I'll let the rest of the staff know to expect you not being here.
She quickly dashes into after he's finished. She quickly dashes to the back to make sure she's got everything.
And as you return as you're walking back out with your stuff, this is
I was gonna have you move your stuff. The new barmaid was about to clean it up. I told her not to. So just beware. Also, treat her nice. She's a wee bit weird.
He smiles. Aren't we all?
Aye,
She
she's
just
weird.
like gestures at her where she's from.
I understand. She's also a bit strange, but it's okay. All right. Well, I'll see you when you get back.
It's a solemn nod and starts heading towards Ember Point to get to her room there.
Okay. All right. So, Talina heads to Amber Point. What does Tip, Grigor, and Merrick do? Do you guys follow Talina? Do you guys hang around the Lucky Tankard for a bit? What would you guys like to do between sessions?
Grigor would be sitting at a table in the Lucky Tank. The Curio Emporium opens.
Okay. Sounds good. And then Tip and Merrick.
Tip's gonna find
Get
the
a room to
nearest
sleep.
tree.
Sorry. Okay. So Tip's looking for the nearest tree, and what is Merrick doing?
Get a room to sleep.
Okay, so Merrick procures a room from Durham for the tankard. Sounds good. So takes one of the rooms upstairs that overlooks the water. And it's actually a really nice room. It would cost you, say, what did I say for the tankard?
Wasn't it like 5 gold or something like that?
Yeah, I have it written down here. I just gotta find it.
I have gold for this place.
No, it is 4 silver for an overnight stay.
Trying to get bamboozled by someone sleeping on a boat, bro. What the hell?
If you wanted,
Hey, she's tired. She just wants to sleep.
if you wanted to get like one of the really nice, like they have two really nice like suites per se, it's 16 silver a night.
I bet you should go for the nice one.
A nice one.
I
Okay.
have to do math now.
Okay, so 16 silver a night. So 16 silver. Go ahead and mark that
16.
off. And that basically gets you one of the second floor, well, technically third floor, rooms that overlooks the waterfront. And it's a very large room. It actually has a bedroom off of like a sitting area. It has a balcony that overlooks the road to the side of the Lucky Tankard. It's actually like really nice, which is kind of surprising for this place, but it's right there on the water, and you kind of get the impression that Durham is trying to make this place seem fancier than it actually is.
I have a
Remember?
general question.
Yes.
Are we gonna have some form of a time skip between this and the next session?
Yeah, probably.
That's a very good question.
That was kind
Okay.
of the plan, yeah. So essentially, to make sure I understand this correctly, I'll get my notes updated. So Daxori and Scorch are sleeping in an abandoned boat. Tip is seeking out a nearest tree, which realistically
Rather comfortably, I might add.
Oh yeah, you find an old hammock that's just been left there that's actually really comfortable. It basically is just someone kind of left a boat here for who knows how long, and you've just kind of staked a claim here.
Scorch climbed up into the hammock with her.
Perfect. Talina wanders off to Amber Point for her scheduled time away from the tankard at a different location, where she has a room and another schedule. Grigor is awaiting his shift to work at Glimmer's Emporium, which is his normal everyday job. Merrick procures a room at the Lucky Tankard from Durham and is staying in a very lavish suite. I say lavish; it's lavish for this part of the town. And then Tip, you said you were looking for a tree. There aren't any trees right around here. Would you venture through town, or would you just basically find the nearest tree and call it good?
The nearest tree doesn't have to be a big one. It could
Okay.
be a bush. Who cares?
You would
She's just gonna
absolutely
go to sleep.
be able to find some shrubberies, like a street over from the Lucky Tankard. It's not that far to find some landscaping, basically. Okay, so in that case, this is where we're going to pick up next time, as you guys are all kind of spread out around town, and we say goodbye to Basil for the time being, and we will pick up from here in the next session.
Basil takes his final bow and exits stage right.
Exit stage right.
Are we getting a character swap next time?
Maybe.
Whistling noises.
You don't know. Maybe. But yes.
Melon's leaving the thing. He hasn't told us any of us
Melon's
yet.
like, I'm out. Peace. Like, just gone.
No, I'm out. Bye.
Yep. No.
Melon's moving forward to GTA RP.
Yep.
We'll miss you.
You know what I just realized?
What?
What?
We never sorted the money that Dax has in the bag of holding, so she has 4,000 coins on her.
Yes, she does. Because she took it and then never did anything with it. In fact, some of the people don't even know you have it because you never announced it.
Yep.
So we'll see how that
I
goes.
mean, Talena has a bunch of coin on her as well that should have been divvied, but hey ho, here we are.
Yeah. We'll see how
And
that goes.
The only one that would have known that she had it on her is Basil, and Basil's leaving them for right now.
Now, something else I need to mention before everybody peters off for bed. You guys just leveled up. You guys are now level 5.
Oh,
shit.
So,
how do we level up in this again?
So what you're going to do is you guys are going to open your character sheet. And remember, you don't have to do it right this second. Obviously, we have a lot of time between now and next session for you to figure this out. But to do it in game, you need to open your character sheet. Yeah, you need to open your character sheet. And then on your character sheet, you're going to click the edit button or the manage button.
Okay.
You don't need to do that. You can just hit the...
Oh, that's right. They
next to
changed
your
it.
level, there's 4 buttons. You need to hit the circle with the arrow.
Yes, I forgot they added that in the new version. So yeah, there's just a level up button. You just got to click. It's underneath the short rest button, the little fork and knife. Looks like a little arrow pointing up.
Class?
Yeah, no, Fox is fine. Yeah, Fox, you're good because you already your character's already prepped for level 5. So thank you very much, Fox. Have a good night. Get some sleep, and we will see you next time. But yes, but yeah, anybody else that wants to manage it right now can. Otherwise, you guys can think about it and do it later. But on your character sheet, just click the up arrow, and you will level yourself up to level 5. And it should walk you through the things you need to do for your level. Like if it gains you anything, like level 5, you get level 3 spells for your spellcasters. So,
it didn't do that.
it should, but
it asked me for hit points, but
because like I'm testing it on Basil since obviously he's not leveling up technically, and it does give me the option to add. Well, it says, hold on, if I do this.
Basil's sheet is no longer in my control. It technically is, but
yeah,
it's now with you.
So if I roll, it was actually a really good roll.
I don't know if this is going to put this
What
Thank you.
Modern
it didn't. All that did was add the HP. It didn't give me the ability to increase a stat point or anything.
That's because stat point increase is only at every 4th level, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
so,
you would check what your level up criteria is, what you would gain through your class. So you might want to go into your beyond just to do your level up.
Let's see here. Level 1 rage, level 2.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna go into Beyond.
Oh yeah, level 5, you get extra attack. You can
I'm
attack.
gonna go into Beyond D&D for mine.
Yeah, do that.
Pick it.
Yeah, because Barbarian in here is saying at level 5 you can attack twice instead of once, and you get fast movement, so your speed increases by 10. You actually get 2 really good things on level 5.
I get Font of Inspiration, so my Bardic Inspirations get replenished every short rest instead.
Okay, also I'm gonna do this. So
alright, so we want level 5.
You're still lingering on your stream end screen, by the way.
Oh, yes I am. Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for those watching the stream. We will see you guys in the next one. As of right now, I believe there shouldn't be any hiccups. It should be in 2 weeks. So we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now.
I want to do earlier.
Huh?
I said I want to do earlier.
Like earlier than 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I think your schedule's the hiccup, right? For playing every week because of your work schedule. It's like every other week.
But that also might change.
That's true. Well, I will be back next. I'll be available next Thursday if you guys wanted to play, but we would need to obviously make sure the schedule would still work, but we can confirm that. But either way,
What
whether
I'm
it's in 1
hearing
week or
is
2